Tommy Tallarico, yay! Hey, get out of my way. I gotta see what Tony TGG's gonna say. It's time to listen to the Geek Away. 'Cause there are so many geeky movies and TV shows. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll let the Tommy Tallarico. Hey, get out of my way. There's news to do, nothing, so you might as well stay. It's time to listen to the Geeking Away. Sheesh.
What's up, meatbags? I am the often imitated, never duplicated frog of your dreams that makes the ladies cream, Tony TGD. Of course, I'm joined by Blinded Braille. What's up, Blinded?
What's up? What's ever everyone in the chat?
Sorry for the delay. I had some technical issues. My computer was acting funny again. And yes, Carl, a new computer would help with that. I did get one, remember? And then I had to send it back. So we're working on the second new computer. It should be in soon. But before we get to that, let me remind you, like the video, share the video with your friends. Of course, sub to the channel because it makes me feel so good. And I do love feeling good. Do you like feeling good, Blinded?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So sub to the channel. Make me and Blinded feel good.
Yeah, and I like to. We got to get everybody to hit that like button.
Yeah, that we do. We're nearing 600 subs. We let Ninja Kitty pass us. We have to come on and get back past Ninja Kitty.
Yes, he was close. He caught up, so that was quick.
Yeah. What the hell did I do? Hit the wrong button. Technical issues. All right. So, Blinded, how was your week? How have you been? We haven't seen you around the channel too much. What's been going on?
Pretty good. I finished the semester, so that's pretty good. So now I can get back to focusing on the channel and some other stuff, playing games too.
Did you pass?
I haven't got my result back, but I'm probably I passed. I mean, I hated that one class, that final test. It was like on Thursday, but it's whatever. I needed to get it done and just move on with my life. But other than that, I saw The Northman yesterday, which was really good. Amazing movie. I recommend everybody go watch it, especially if you're into if you're into Viking mythology or history. It's not like it's semi based on a real story, but it's not. But that movie is absolutely insane. I can't believe it got made. Like, it's insane. But anyway.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting about it. You were gushing all over Twitter, letting us know how great that movie was. So if you want to know about movies, follow Blinded Braille on Twitter. He's always talking movies. He's been posting a lot of pictures.
Hot takes. Yes.
Now I'll get pictures from Guardians of the Galaxy because he's been playing that.
Yeah, I take pictures of things in games, and obviously I do my photography and stuff. So I'm very active on Twitter. I like Twitter for posting stuff, but like the interaction with other people can be annoying sometimes, but I still like it. I know it gets some hate, but it's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's a useful tool. I use it to promote the show, promote the channel, promote the brand, Geek Getaway. Mm-hmm. I've used it to talk to developers to get jobs. It's fine when you use it for what it's for. I should post on Twitter too, so make sure you follow me if you want some funny, snarky comments. Yeah. So are you loving that Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Well, I'm not that far into the game. I'm probably maybe like. I guess the Cosmo part is chapter 4 or 5. I forget.
I think it's 4.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just got to that part, so it's pretty good so far. I'm really impressed by the actual story. Like, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie and the second movie. Like, if Marvel stopped making movies and just made like one more Guardians movie, I would be perfectly fine because those movies were fantastic. And I love the characters. But this game, just like they did a lot for the characters, like better than the movie, honestly, and the themes and stuff like that. Like, I'm kind of shocked. Like, how come this game sold so badly? I don't understand. It's like well made and everything. So go
Well,
check
I
that
gave it
out
a
if you
review.
haven't. Yeah, back in, was it October or
Yeah.
November? Yes.
My only complaint with the game was the combat. What's up, Beefy? The combat in Guardians of the Galaxy is not the best. I don't like you're stuck playing as Star-Lord. You don't have any control, direct control over the other characters. I don't like that.
It kind of reminds me of Mass Effect. Like, that's what I kind of like about it.
I would have preferred like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance type thing where you could swap in and out. I mean, the computer AI does a pretty decent job. You know, not just like screwing off somewhere and fucking you up in combat, but I would have liked the more direct control. Personally.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, especially because a lot of people like Rocket and Groot, so like playing as them would be kind of cool. But in general, I feel like the game is still like, it's still well made. It's like especially compared to like Avengers, like this blows that out of the water. So go check that out.
There's no comparison. Have you been cheating? Have you been looking up the better choices online, or have you just been making choices?
My friend told me one choice. He was like, go with instead of picking Groot as the monster, pick Rocket. Just because he said it was a little bit more interesting than the stealth mission. So I did that, and I just been making choices like based on like what I think Star-Lord would make, like just like in his character, like I guess role playing, right? So that's what I'm doing so far.
Yeah, that's how I did. I didn't really look anything up. It does kind of screw you over. There's two sections that if you don't make the right choice, kind of screws you up later on. But I mean, it is, all the choices lead to the same outcome. It's not like you're going to get a totally different ending or something, right?
Yeah, true. I wasn't really expecting that.
There are two. There's like two. It's not really spoilers, but one is early on with the space llama.
Yes. Yeah, I already dealt with that.
And then when you're on the planet, what the hell is it? The planet that the collector's on?
Yeah, Nowhere.
Yeah, when you're on Nowhere, whether or not you go into the collector's emporium, because it is very expensive to go in there.
Well, actually, I think I did something beforehand because it was free for me when I got in. Like, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm not sure what I did to do that, but
Well, it wasn't free for me. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many little choices, and they do have a consequence. So I do like that. Voice acting in that game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I did not like the New Game Plus. Not like that. Because they really didn't add nothing.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I never play New Game Plus for that reason. Like, it just seems like, you get every unlock, and it's a little bit harder, and I'm like,
but you don't. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you don't in this case. Okay,
you
that's
don't get anything. It just wipes you back to the beginning.
weird.
You get a couple bonus armors or bonus skins, and that's it.
My friend was telling me the New Game Plus, it actually unlocks all the costumes. Does that happen?
No.
No? Okay.
The costumes you unlock stay unlocked, but it doesn't unlock
that's weird.
All the ones you missed.
Okay.
Just like the items, there's a, how you got the little gallery and it shows all the different items that you can see in the game. Like, it doesn't unlock all those. You have to actually get them to get it into the gallery. And then, like, Star-Lord's, his upgrades, his gun upgrades, that doesn't carry over.
That's weird. So it's just hard because I'm playing on. I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty. I'm playing on the second hardest. So like one step above normal. And that's what I usually play on for like these types of games. Because sometimes I feel like normal's a little too easy. So. But I actually.
real quick. He says, "What happens if you pick the bad choices?" There are no bad choices. There's just different choices. That makes sense. Like
Yeah.
sometimes each choice is equally kind of screwed up or equally good in a way. You gotta kind of decide. Like Rocket's not gonna leave the Guardians, and you're not gonna end up in jail and like the game over or some shit. You're gonna get to the ending.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I don't want to give away any of the spoilers because I don't want to ruin the experience for Blinded.
Well, I know some stuff. Like I know you fight Fing Fam Foom and stuff like that, but
Yeah, but there's certain choices that you make. You ever played Dragon Age Origin?
no.
Well, in that game, there was choices you made. Like if you sided with, say, the elves over the humans, and at the end of the game, the elves show up to help you. There's something like that in Guardians.
Okay, that's interesting. Like, I mean, I kind of suspected that this game would have choices when it first got announced, just because Eidos likes to do that. Like in all of their games, they have choices. So I wish more games had that, but I could see it being a problem just for like development wise.
Yeah. Like it's real good. Another nitpick. It's a tiny nitpick, but it's a game with a lot of exploration. There's a lot of stuff off the beaten track, right? Like hidden treasure chest or extra. The little shit you got to collect, the little fucking batteries or whatever the fuck you're collecting. But Rocket's constantly telling you to stop going the wrong way, and that kind of gets annoying after a while. Like the first time he's like, it's funny. He's telling you stop fucking around and come the right way. Then after like 5 minutes of it, shut the fuck up, Rocket. I'm gonna fucking strangle you. And you can explore every nook and cranny because I want to hit every fucking thing,
Yeah, that did happen. I think that happens with any character, because like I was with Nikki and she was doing the exact same thing too. Like, why are you leaving me after you just praised me? And I was like, it was funny, but then I was like, I could see it being a little confusing.
You're like, shut up. I want to go down this hallway that's clearly the wrong way because there's a treasure chest there somewhere.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a good week. Glad that you graduated or passed your classes. And
yeah.
As for me, I've had an interesting week. I will give you the analogy that I gave Saggy the other day. I accidentally fed a few rats, and then a bunch more rats showed up to feed. So I'm going to stop doing that, right? There are people that are worth our attention, worth our time. If these people, if a bigger channel or someone with more respect in the community were to attack us or come down on us, that would be something we would respond to. That's something that we should respond to, right? But when people are below us, beneath us, that they're whining and they're reeing into the atmosphere. It doesn't matter. We're not getting anything off of them, right? We're not going to punch down anymore, is what I'm saying. Like, I didn't realize that was a real thing. I used to think that punching down was stupid, but now I kind of realize it is a thing in certain situations. And in this situation, I was punching down, and I shouldn't have done that because all it did was exacerbate the situation. You would think that the person down there would have shut up. Like I was kicking a toddler, you would think the toddler would shut up, but it just kept crying as I was fucking hitting it. In the analogy, not like a real toddler, because I know that's going to get clipped out of context. Other than that, I reached out to a few developers, a few publishers this week. We've been put on some list, not the bad kind of list, but the good kind of list for review copies and stuff. So I do have one that I'm working on, a review for a game that should, within like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, I'll have a new review up for an upcoming game. Unfortunately, due to the embargo agreement, I can't even tell you what game it is, which is weird. I've never had that before.
That's interesting. So, like, the game, like, people know about this game already, or is it not announced? Like,
no, it's announced. It's an announced game. It's got a release date. It's coming out. They just said you can't say on social media or anything that you have a review copy until the embargo lifts.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it is what it is, but I will review it fairly. It is a company that I have a pretty decent relationship with, so I'm not worried about anything. We've shit on them in the past, and they still give us review copies, so I'm not concerned too much.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Other than that, Blinded Braille expressed interest in doing a horror show, so I'm going to reach out to a few people I know, try to get them on to be guest or to just come up, swing by, talk horror with them.
Yeah, might have to ask some friends if they want to come on, or so that's gonna be probably on Fridays. So it's gonna be interesting. I have a lot of notes, and I have to make some assets for it, and yeah, it should be cool.
Harold says I need closure on the Take 5 whatchamacallit debate. I don't remember what the hell that is, Harold.
I have no clue. Take 5 what?
Yeah. If you figure it out, what the whatchamacallit is, we'll figure it out. Or maybe he's talking to Carl. Maybe he's talking about whatchamacallit candy bar. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue.
No clue. This intro is getting long. It's getting a little long, and we're getting a little off track here. Additionally, to get us back on track, I have reached out to more people to get them, to be guests on the show. I do know a lot of people, and I try not to use that relationship. I don't want to drag my friends onto my show, my little crappy podcast, and take advantage of them having bigger platforms and being bigger deals on YouTube. So we might have some people pop in once in a while, but they're not going to be announced. It's not going to be like blasted all over social media that they're going to be here. It might just be on the after show. So again, you have to be here to see it, right? Because the after show always gets unlisted because that's just us shooting the shit. The main show that gets cut up, plastered all over the week, and you guys do miss. If you're not here live, you're going to miss certain little segments. It might be Obama, could be. He is a
Obama.
You never know. I might have some connections with Mr. Obama. I know it's Obama's first name too. So yeah, that's it with that. Gary is MIA again. As you can see, I don't know where he's at. I haven't heard from him in a couple of days. Ninja Kitty, busy with the family for some reason. I don't know what the hell that's about. Dave's Gaming, he got sick. He was expressing interest in leaving the cult, so we put him back into re-education.
Oh no, that's why he's sick. Oh boy.
Yeah, we got him with the eyes taped open, looking at the computer screen.
Oh boy.
Just a bunch of frogs. Frogs are good. Frogs are life. Minnie says Gary's out smashing older ladies.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that's how my week's been. That's how everything's going. We're gonna try to deliver quality content. If you missed the video where I said I am going to be personally focusing on video games rather than try to do video games, movies, TV shows, wrestling, etc., etc. Personally, just gaming from me on the channel. Gabbing with Geeks is still gonna cover everything interesting during the week that happened in geekdom, or just shit that we want to talk about. Gary, Blinded, Dazed, Ninja Kitty, they're free to do whatever they want on the channel as long as it's geek related. And I think that covers it all. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
I think you covered everything.
I think that's good. So, yeah, that's good for the intro. Fuck. I'm feeling a little sick myself. I can't take a day off. I don't get a day off around here. Blinded.
Yeah, I noticed.
Fucking Dean. We was up all night with Dean yesterday till like fucking 4:30 in the morning.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Well, what happened
Didn't you?
was,
Yeah, I was
here's
gonna
what,
say.
go ahead.
Yeah, go.
What happened was, I was playing Retromania Wrestling, right? So I live streamed
Hmm.
that. I finished the story mode, and I was like, well, I want to still, do some live streaming. So I was like, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just gonna do a regular live stream like this, right? Just a little chill live stream. But then Sidekick Max came in the room, and Sidekick Max like, hey, he just wants to chill out in the room and talk and just spend some time together, right? I was like, well, why don't we get on the stream together? Sidekick Max like, no, I don't want to. I don't feel like streaming, right? I was like, all right. So then Dean's like, well, what's up with that chill stream? I'm like, well, the Sidekick Max came in and we're just hanging out. And I was like, when he goes to bed, I'll pop up a live stream. Well, Sidekick Max doesn't go to bed till like midnight on the weekends.
Hmm.
So I popped up a live stream about like 12:05. So then for the next 4.5 hours, we were just live streaming, just whatever. We had Carl. Carl popped in. Who else? Someone else was there. Ninja Kitty. Ninja Kitty was fucking there. I can't even remember.
Mm.
So we were just there till like fucking 4:30. We watched some DJC shit. That was funny. We watched a video from PK in the Universe. It's been on YouTube 9 years. He was dishing out some advice, but he still has less than 1,000 subs, so that was kind of weird.
Mm.
Max says, I didn't get to sleep until 4:30 a.m. and woke up in my chair at 6. Damn, Max. I at least dragged myself to the bed and got a couple hours. I'm getting like an echo from you, Blinded.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Hold on. Echo. Maybe it's my mic being close to the headphones. I don't know. Hold on. Give me a second.
Might need to do a stream about zombies.
You still an echo? Because I'm on my.
Let me see. I was getting the echo when I was talking. No, you sound good now. Sound fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Max was hearing it's a faint echo. It was when I would talk, there would be like a faint echo coming from you.
I'm gonna have to turn down my headphones because that's probably why.
I did see a horror movie today. Choose or Die.
Choose or Die. I've never heard of that one.
It was on Netflix. It's about a 1980s computer game that is able to manipulate the real world, and it's like one of those like the hell am I thinking of? That one that just came out. What the fuck was like Truth or Dare or whatever? It was like fucking. Would you?
Yeah,
rather?
Truth. Yeah, there's a couple of those.
It's something like that, but the hook is that it's a evil computer doing it, not like another person or whatever. What's up, Tommy O?
There was actually like a
Tommy O.
Black Mirror episode that was like interactive. That was similar.
It was decent, not great, not too scary. I watched the whole thing, like, so that has to say something, right? And I was able to make it through the whole movie.
Yeah, true. It seems like it just came out, so it's interesting.
Yeah. Real quick, what's up, Tommy O, King of Buttocks, Max Lenartz, Amico Nader, of course, Mini Music, Chappie, Harold, Rhea, what's up? We had Rabbit Dude, Beefy, Stream Elements, #1 fan. I love Stream Elements. No Call, No Show. So what's up, fellas? You are the core group. These are like the hardcore cultist.
And Chappie too. Chappie's here.
Oh yeah, Chappie just showed up. I was scrolling up. I missed the Chappie, but he says it's reverb. It makes shit sound pro. CPE's here too. He was there last night watching us. That shit was crazy.
Jeez.
He had to be there. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not here live, we're not going to leave the live streams up because they just do shit in the algorithm. Like if you pop in and you watch like 10 minutes of a 4-hour stream, it's going to fuck up the whole algorithm for the channel. So you got to catch it live because when you're live, you're here the whole time pretty much. And it, actually does good for our engagement and everything. You guys are arguing about He-Man now? Yeah, we got pulled down for a wrestling. Fucking.
That's what I saw on Twitter. Thought that was
the very
hilarious.
beginning of the live stream, right? Dean's like, "Oh, I got something. I got something to play, right?" Because I was like, I really had nothing planned. He's like, "I got something." He's like, "Here, put this on." I'm like, "Oh shit," like whatever Dean says here, just put this on without telling me. I'm like, "Oh fuck." I was like, "All right, put it on." And it was like an Eddie Kingston, Danny, somebody, I don't fucking know who these people are. AEW match with no sound. He fucking linked it without sound. We're like, oh, whatever. And we just watched it. It was like 2 minutes. It was like the end of the match. And we just watched it. And we were even joking. We're like, oh, man, I'm surprised we didn't get taken down in the middle of the stream. And I woke up and fucking blocked worldwide. Fucking AEW.
Wow. Crazy.
That's all right. Yeah, D Reed is missing. So is Dean TV. They're both fucking sleeping it off from last night.
They'll show up later. They always do.
Next week, if Sidekick Max goes by his mother's, he was supposed to go by his mother's this week, but then some shit happened, so he didn't go. So he might go next week. If he goes next week, I think I'm going to have a bottle of tequila for the after show, $10 shots. I'll put the camera on so you can see the bottle, not so you can see me. You'll see the bottle of the shot glass in my hand, and you'll hear me drink, but that's about it. So it'll be a hand reveal.
Oh boy. 600 hand revealed.
Tommy O says, do you really drink all those energy sodas? You're better off smoking weed than that stuff. I really do drink them all. Not in one day, obviously. I didn't drink them all. Fucking, I'd be dead if I drank like 9 energy drinks in a day.
I hate the taste of those energy drinks. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, which one do you try? Because
I tried Monster. That was pretty bad. Red Bull, I hated that. That tastes like, I don't know. It tastes like bitter apple juice. I don't know. Like, I just hate the taste of that stuff.
Tommy O says, laughing my ass off, drunk stream, Tony. Well, I'll only be drunk if A, you guys actually buy me shots, and B, you guys buy them in a fast enough pattern. It'll more likely be just like Tony's getting really, really quiet, and then someone has to check on me to make sure I'm not dead. Like, oh shit, he got fucking alcohol poisoning. He just passed out somewhere.
Yeah.
What's up, Retro Bro? He says, I drink Rain. They have the best flavors. I've never tried Rain. I like Monster because they got the no sugar, no carbs, like 100, 0 carbs, 0 sugar shit. The white one, the green one, or the purple one. Those are my main.
Oh my god. I don't even want to picture what that tastes like.
What? The purple one tastes like grape. The white one just tastes like flavor. I don't know. I can't even describe it.
Ugh.
And the green one is like not a watermelon. It's almost like a limey, watermelony, weird. It's got a weird flavor. It's good. I mean, it's good. I like it.
Mm.
I've been drinking energy drinks since I was like 16. I used to drink Hanson's Energy when they used to sell that. So,
Yeah, I could have never got in.
When did this happen? Is this true? Somebody fact check Tommy O.
I feel like that's like a rumor because I've heard this before.
Yeah, I heard before that they're like taurine is bull semen. That's why it's called Red Bull. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, see, Retro Bros, the the fitness guy. He says taurine is a branch chain amino acid. It's not bad for you. Thank you, bro. I was like, man, I know I could afford losing one of them, and I'd still have two, but I want my balls intact.
Can afford wait, so you have 3 balls?
It's not
what?
weird. It's not like a triangle. It's like a line. Yeah, it's 3, like in a line. It's not weird.
Okay, then.
King of Buttocks says I've been doing blows since I was 16. That's probably
Jesus.
not good for you, I'm guessing. Yes, that's not good. Just so before there's no rumors, Retro Bro, I did comment how you were kind of huffing and puffing a little bit on your walk video. So I was giving you a little shit on that. A YouTube user says, Tony, you have a kid, your balls are over. Not really. Not really. I can still
What the fuck?
Let's get to the first topic at hand. Blind had talked about this last week. I didn't get to get in on this last week because I was behind on my Disney Plus watching. But we're going to be talking about Moon Knight episode 4 and a little bit of episode 3 because I didn't watch it last week. I didn't watch it for last week's show, but I watched it since then. So I do have some commentary on it. But remember, like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel because it makes me feel oh so good. Moon Knight episode 4, Blinded. Your thoughts?
It was pretty good. I liked it. I had some judgment on it beforehand because I knew about the twist, but I thought it was done decently. But this is the thing about the show. It's like there's some good stuff, but then you're like, I don't know. Like they should have saved it for another season or done something else. I'm very conflicted with the show. So
Yeah. So I saw episode 3. There was, like you said, there were some good things and there were some things that like just didn't make any sense.
yeah.
You know what? I don't exist in the MCU, right? I don't exist in a world of superheroes. But if I did, and I was a henchman, right, and I took a spear and I fucking stabbed a dude with it, right, through the fucking body, and he was still walking, I would get the fuck out of there at that point. If I saw Blind stab some dude with a spear, right, like Blind is like stabs a dude in the chest with a spear, I'd be like, fuck this. You don't pay me enough for this. I ain't getting killed. But in the MCU, everyone just like, fuck it, we could take him. This guy's like struggling off bullets. This fucking got spears hanging out of him. And they're like, I'm a normal dude. I think I have a chance. Like, fuck that. No
yeah, sense. I know. They need to either wrap up the fight scene quicker because it's like it was lingering and it's like I feel like he wouldn't be that affected by those spears anyway. Right? So I don't know. This show's again like his powers are very confusing in the show because it's like this is why I say they should have just done it like tell us the origin story in the MCU so then we can have some idea of okay, like this is what he could do. And then get into all of this other stuff, right? But instead, they're telling the story, like, not backwards, but like just like skipping around, right? Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Then when he threw the, whatever you want to call it, the little fucking half moon, the crescent moon at the guy, I am convinced the guy is still alive. The guy is an important enough character in the comics that if you didn't see his body, I'm going to go with the old adage, if you don't see a body, the person's not dead. You heard the little, the little noise of the crescent moon going in him. You didn't see where it landed. You didn't hear him like fall off a horse or anything. And then it just comes right back to Moon Knight. And, he's never seen again.
They would have to recast, though, because that actor just passed away.
Right. So. Well, I think the intention originally was that he was going to come back.
Yeah.
And then the actor passed away. Mini Music's right. If you see a body, he still might not be dead.
Yeah, that's movie rule number 1. So
Then in episode 4, spoiler alert, the little twist at the end, uh, where they're kind of like in his mind, it's a mental hospital. There's both of them there.
Yeah. That's probably going to be in all of his mind as well. Like it's probably just going to be a fake out.
Yeah. Well, I think what they're going to do, because there was a small hint that there's a third personality that we haven't been
Yeah,
formally
Jake
introduced.
Locklear.
Yeah. So I think they're going to realize, wait a minute, if we're both here in our head, then what's our body doing, right? Because at that point,
Mm, that's an interesting take. Yeah, I could see that happening. That probably makes some sense.
because in the Incredible Hulk comic, to go to reference the comics, but in the comic, they had built within Bruce Banner's mind a like wall that the Hulk couldn't get out of.
Hmm.
They trapped him in there, and that was very reminiscent when they show him going through the mental hospital that there's like a sarcophagus with the one personality was like stuck in there. But then I can't, the episode ended with the hippopotamus lady showing up. And that was kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah, like that was just supposed to be a what the fuck moment. Like just throw a wrench in there. Like I don't know this part of the show, right? That's from the Jeff Lemire comic, right? And that comic starts with him in the asylum, right? And so he's like going back and forth between his past with his dad, and then Stephen Grant is this movie producer, and then he's like in the movie as Moon Knight fighting off these like werewolves on the moon. So it's all this like trippy stuff happening. And so like in the show there was a lot of reference to that comic, right? Like the cops in the I think the second episode they were the I guess the nurses of the asylum or whatever. And that was
Yeah.
exactly like in the comics, right? Because they were actually the Undertaker, right? And they were trying to actually hunt down Mark, but they were pretending to be nurses, right? So I thought that was, typical Marvel. They like to take from the comics and blend it in with something new. So
Yeah, it was pretty good. But there was another thing that I didn't like when they, spoiler again, if you haven't seen it, we're going to spoil all kind of shit. But when they
yeah.
trap No Shoe into the little statue, right?
Hmm. In
And I
episode
think
three.
yeah, it was episode 3. But then like I think it was Horace's avatar, or whatever, is like, hey, fucking Haro, dude, that's not the avatar of nobody. The dude that we said, hey, uh, we put you on trial and then we let you free. Hey, do you want to say some words to No Shoe now that we've trapped him? I don't know why they brought him back in there.
Yeah, that was I was complaining about that whole like the Council of Gods because it reminded me of Mass Effect, and it was just like really stupid. Like, how are these like gods who are supposed to be all seeing not realize that Arthur is like a liar? It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I just hate that. It seems like a trope, right? Where it's like, oh, all these people who are in like high powers, right? They don't know what's going on. Only the protagonist knows, and it's just so annoying because it's like they either should be smarter or they should know better, and it's like, so that was annoying.
And it's not just that. Like, once again, they're all knowing gods. And then Arthur Harrow goes up to the statue and basically reveals his plan. Like, he does the
Yeah,
typical villain monologue. Ha ha ha, you forged me into a weapon that's going to release Amet onto the world. And I'm like, none of the guys are listening. Like, you guys don't hear this? He's in the temple revealing his master plan, and none of yous are fucking around. Like, none of you.
yeah. It's funny too seeing because Ethan Hawke is actually in the Northman, and his performance in Moon Knight compared to the Northman is so cartoonish. Like it's not Ethan Hawke, honestly. Like I feel like he's just got a paycheck for this and was like, well, I guess I'm a hypocrite now because I was shitting all over Marvel, so I can't really complain anymore. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Then when they did the whole when they first brought Harrow into the tomb, I thought they were going to do the typical, oh, you thought the council was fair, but they were actually working with the bad guy all along. So I did like that they didn't
Yes.
go there, but they did kind of make it, like, at the very least, like there was a little fake out with it. Then he cock blocks himself. He's like, hey, by the way, Mark Spector did kill your dad, but he was protecting you. So don't make out with Stephen Grant. Wait till Mark takes back over,
Mm.
which was stupid. I think that whole eventually they're going to have to reveal that her dad was evil or her dad was not, the good person that she thought he was.
I feel like if they do that, that would be typical MCU bullshit. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
how else are they going to explain why Mark Spector was okay killing those people?
because Mark Spector's a bad person. It's as simple as that. He's not like supposed to be Captain America. He's not like this morally righteous person. He's very shady. So I feel like if the MCU or in the show at least they try to be like, it was actually because the dad was bad, it would just be like such a cop out. It's like, oh yeah, you have to make the hero good, right? So it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, they might maybe it'll be revealed that Haro actually hired the mercenaries. There's got to be some like out for him. Like maybe they lied to Mark Spector. They told him that they were fucking evil archaeologists, but they really weren't. I think that there's got to be some sort of small amount of out for him to be like, yeah, I killed your dad, but
well, I don't think it's. I mean, I don't think. Okay, it's either he's bad or it's going to be what is in the comics, right? Like Bushman is the one that killed all of them, right? Because that's what happens. So, and he was working with Bushman in the beginning until he turned on him. So it could be that. We'll have to see. I don't know if Bushman is going to like show up at the ending of the show because he's like an important villain to Moon Knight. And honestly, I think they would have to change him up dramatically because he just feels kind of out of date. Like I feel like people are going to say, this is not PC or something like that. So
who knows? But it's not great. Like I watch it,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, it's a thing that happened for 30 minutes. I'm not like all excited for the next episode, but I'm not like all upset about it either. It's just like, it's a thing that I did for 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, like I feel like it's not bad, but like I was saying before, it's so all over the place, right? And I can understand if that's the intention, but it's not well written enough to say, oh, it's confusing on purpose, right? It just feels like as time goes on, they were like, oh, we should throw this in and add that and let's go in this direction. It just doesn't feel coherent. You know what I mean? So that's my issue with the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this show would have probably benefited from releasing all the episodes at once, or like 3 of them at a time, or something like that. This one after another, it seems like it's dragging out. Like in order to
way
get
too
the
long,
cool, like 35-minute episode, 40-minute episode, they're like, we gotta pad it a little in the ends and add a little fucking padding in the middle. Whereas if it was like one complete thing, they could have just did it, slim and trim, nice and succinct. Which is weird that I complain about a show rambling on or being padded when that's all we do here. It's fucking pad everything. So, a little bit of a little hypocritical, but that's.
But isn't it? It's still kind of crazy though that the show is only 6 episodes and it just feels like it's going on. You know what I mean? Like 6 episodes is not a lot.
Yeah, 6 episodes. We're 4 episodes in, and I feel like we're just starting now to really like. Okay, we've got all backstory. We're ready to actually start the proper story, and it's going to end in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
That's the same way I felt with Hawkeye. They had all this shit, and I was like, "There's no way you could wrap it all up in the last episode," but they sort of did. So.
I mean, now that I look back, Hawkeye was kind of generic.
It was. still like it. Haley Steinfeld, it's a pretty good actress. Not
I only really care about the Kingpin. That was really it.
I like Hawkeye. I've always liked Hawkeye as a character. He's the everyman. He was supposed to be like your stand-in, the normal dude amongst all these superheroes with superpowers. He's just got a fucking bow and arrow. He's fucking saving the day alongside the Hulk and Thor and Giant Man and shit. But I think that's all we got for Moon Knight. Any final thoughts?
Not really. I'm interested to see what happens next, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if they spin it or if they mention Bast. Those are the two things I'm looking forward to. How they spin the fact that no one else has been paying attention to all this wacky gods shit going on, and if they mention Bast, who is the Black Panther deity. So we'll see how it goes. I see people in the comments are asking about the big retro show, Los, from the big retro show. He's hating on me again. He's got more hate. What's going on? He was upset again. He's calling me racist.
Oh boy.
Against Latinos, against Mexicans, I guess. For the whole housekeeper joke that I made.
And that was months ago now. Holy shit.
Just can't let it go. He's like tagging everybody and like, hey, Tony's a fucking racist. Hey, Shaggy, did you know Tony's racist? You guys didn't walk away from Tony. He's racist. Whatever.
Oh
I thought it was a funny joke. How do you know he called you racist? Because I follow Retro Bro, and Retro Bro replied, hey, I don't think Tony's racist. I never heard him say anything racist.
Insane.
Yeah, see? No habla housekeeper after all. It's a funny joke, okay? I swear to God, if Fluffy or Paul Rodriguez or George Lopez had made that joke, everybody would laugh and it would be funny and fucking clapping their hands. And I make that joke, suddenly it's not funny, right?
Yeah.
I mean, am I a world famous comedian? No. Am I an entertainer? Yes, in a way. So I always say I'm not serious most of the time. It is a joke. Was it a racial joke? Yes. Was it off color? Yes. Do I take it back? No. Do I think it's funny? Yes. Mitty says it's a funny joke and his overreaction makes it 10 times funnier. Yeah. Tony doesn't need to be racist for me to walk away from him. Yeah.
What would you walk away from him for then? Now I'm curious.
Mr. Beefy's like, fuck that Tony guy. And it's weird. First off, I'm pretty sure you can't be racist against your own race. It's like really hard. I mean,
I think I would say you can, but like a joke like that is not like indicative of being racist. Like you're just throwing that out there.
Yeah. It was just a snarky comment, really. I mean,
yeah.
It's not like I was like, fuck these Mexicans. I hope they get fucking deported and killed on the way home or some shit. Then I'm like, oh, dude, that was fucking too far. What the fuck you doing? It's a little racist.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people just like to throw out accusations that they know has a lot of weight, and then it just waters it down. Like, why even say that? Like, you know what I mean?
It's just, and the funniest thing is like, if you know me, right? It's like Tony's racist against Latinos, despite the fact that he's organized many events celebrating Latinos, that he's helped raise money for various Latino charities and organizations. I was invited along with the organization I was a part of in college to ride on the Cinco de Mayo float downtown 2 years in a row, as well as the one that goes through my neighborhood or my old neighborhood.
You
know, we helped organize something for a boxer who they were trying to deport because he did some shit as a kid and they didn't want to let him box. So we helped him with that. I mean, I've promoted Latino discounts. I mean, you can't.
Like, I remember that one.
So it's like, it's whatever, you know. Riding that float, getting away with that Latina discount. It's a Latino discount, it's not a Latina discount. Latino. You gotta put your one eyebrow up, curl your lip just a little, and you gotta give them that look. And believe me, it works. Works every time. You seen I posted the other day, got a Latino discount on my hamburger, fries, and drink. Still works to this day.
Oh boy.
Amigo there, man, was it shit on Tony Day? Amigo there says there's plenty of times want to deck Tony, but his race isn't the reason. Carl, text to speech. Did Big Retro call CG a racist for calling us white knights? Yeah, that's right. He did call you white knights.
Oh my god.
Knights of color. It is just, again, not to give attention to people who don't deserve attention, but he's very upset because he's been grinding away. He gets no attention. I can pop up a live stream at any time, and eventually I'll have like 20 people show up, right? He'll be live streaming scheduled and have maybe 1-2 people show up to a fucking live stream to watch him play a game.
Damn.
You know, he sees people show up on this show or shout me out or invite me to be on their show, and he's very upset about that. He doesn't like it because I am a faceless YouTuber and show my face. Coward.
It's always about faceless and all that stuff. Like, that's the insult.
Well, what's weird is like, okay, let's say I show my face, right? Like you're not gonna punch me through the screen, right? So what did that do? Like, you're gonna track me down? Is that like I need to see your face so I can track you down?
Well, the thing is, they want to insult you. It's a bit of a projection. You know what I mean? Like, you just assume that they're, I don't know, ugly looking motherfuckers or some shit. Like, everybody uses that insult on the internet. Oh, you're just faceless. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, most people do it for protection or privacy reasons, so, or they just don't really care to. You know what I mean? Like, people are unemployed and they don't want to, you know, have their employers find them on the internet and, you know, someone shitting on them. It would just be weird. So,
I've had people threaten to call my employer many a time.
yeah, people do stuff like that. So
I gave Captain Marvel a 6 out of 10 review, and people wanted to call my employer.
over that? Oh my god. Movie deserves less than that. Holy shit.
I was like, it's not a bad movie. I was like, I could see what they were going for with it, and I critiqued why what they tried didn't work, you know. But they were just like, no, you didn't give it a fucking 9 or a 10, so you're sexist and you hate women, and we want to know. They were like, who do you work for that you gave the review? We want to talk to the website or whatever. I'm like, well, the website's my own and I own it, and so I'm not going to fire myself, so fuck you.
That's so weird. I mean, Captain Marvel is just such a, oh man, they butchered that character. Oh my, so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens if I have no face? Like, I'm just like the question. Then what are you gonna say?
Hide his face. I don't want to see that ugly. You guys don't want to be jealous because I'm 41 and I still look like I'm 25. Full head of hair, nice, thick, dark brown hair. I got this nice golden brown skin. A little bit of a baby face, a little bit. Beard, mustache. Picture like a more handsome. No. Who's the guy who played Zorro?
Chris Hemsworth, get at it. Nah.
No, I said Zorro.
Oh, Zorro. I heard Thor. Sorry. Yeah. Who plays it? Zorro.
Antonio
I have no
Banderas.
clue.
Picture a
Okay. Yeah.
sexier Antonio Banderas, and you'll be right there. That's where I'm at.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
A blinded doesn't want his employer to find out he's streaming at work. It's probably what
Yeah,
it is.
that's why.
He won't get his Canadian disability if they find out he's streaming.
Oh shit. I'm sure that's gonna be an insult now that.
Well, Tommy O says excuse me. He says big retro show is just climbing on the bandwagon of people who have been saying we're faceless because they want to find our Facebook profiles and bother our jobs and our family members. Well, yes and no, because like I said, big retro show has been nipping at my heels for the last fucking like 3 months. He's constantly throwing jabs. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Tommy O says I'm not handsome or ugly or anything. I just don't want people to find my Facebook like they did OEBP. Yeah, that's fair. I don't have a Facebook. Yeah. There's like 0 pictures of me online. That was one of the things. Like they were really mad because they during the whole Amico thing, they found some of the websites that I had contributed to in the past, and they're like, "You don't got a picture." I'm like, "Yeah," because when I worked there, I told them I'm not giving you a picture of me for the byline. Just fucking put my name. You don't need a picture of me.
Mm.
And half of them, I didn't even use my real name. There was only one website that was like, "We need your actual name. We're not going to put a pseudonym or a nom de plume, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We want your actual name." I was like, "Fucking whatever." I think of you as a Mexican Billy Crystal. Sorry, bro, it's the vocal mannerisms. Yeah, I can see that. That's fair. It's a fair assessment. I think it's more mystery. Like everybody gets to picture a different Tony TGD. Like you have your own personal vision of what you think I look like. It's like a little personalized thing. Once you know what I look like, then everybody has the same version of me, right? But this way, I'll have a unique Tony TGD.
People have to make up shit in their mind. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, y'all just picture like a big green face drooling a lot.
Or just Kermit at a computer screen.
Yeah. Buttocks says, "I know what you look like. I have a photo."
Exposed.
Exposed. I don't have photos. I don't believe in that. I'm like one of those Native Americans. If you take my picture, my soul is not captured. Ninja Kitty says, "I picture Tony being a mini Giant Gonzalez, walks around town in a similar bodysuit with fake hair and muscles." I don't. I have actual hair. I'm just a really hairy dude. I don't need the fake hair. Yeah, sometimes when I see your hand, I think Javier Bardem. Thank you. He's very, very respected actor. All right, so let's get to the next topic. What are we talking about? I guess we'll talk about this here. We'll be talking about The Batman and Turning Red, give you a little mini reviews because I've seen them both recently. And I said I was going to talk about them. So make sure that you like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel because it makes me feel good. So I've seen The Batman and Turning Red. Have you seen both of these movies, Blinded?
I have not seen Turning Red.
Not seen Turning Red? Oh, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
It takes place in Toronto. That's all I know.
It does. So we'll start with The Batman because you've seen it. I've seen it.
Yes.
You know that you love the movie, don't you?
Yes, I do. I even bought the art book for it.
That's dedication.
Yes.
I will say Colin Farrell fucking knocked it out of the park. Unrecognizable. I didn't like if you told me that was Colin Farrell, like I didn't believe it. I was like, what? Nah, there's no way. His voice, his mannerism, all the way they got the makeup, completely different person. It was like a new fucking person.
It does.
He did a fantastic fucking job. Fantastic. What's his name? The main guy. Fuck's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, he did a good job. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't looking forward to a good performance from him. I was like, Robert Pattinson, fucking Twilight guy, he's gonna be sparkling and shit. No, he did good. He did good.
The funny thing is, a lot of people say that, but they haven't watched like the last 5 years of movies that he's made. Like the
I don't follow
guy,
his career like that. So
yeah, I know. A lot of people don't. So, but he's a really good actor. Like the guy's like blowing it out of the water. Especially like I always say, go watch Good Time. Good Time is amazing. It's hilariously dark, and he does a phenomenal job in that movie. Like he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that. It's kind of crazy that they always skip A24 movies, but yeah, I haven't. When they casted him as Batman, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna do a perfect job. So I never had any complaints.
yeah. What's up? Byron in TV says Batman was Z. I thought it was actually good. I thought it was really good.
I don't
too
get it.
action packed. Maybe that's why people they were let down. But it was very psychological. I liked it. I liked the fact that at the end of the movie, Batman didn't solve the big crime, whatever you want to call it, the big riddle. Like he was still just like a half a step behind the Riddler. So I did like that. I did not like the Riddler's costume. Did not like that.
It's just to answer Chappie's question. It's Good Time.
Good Time, not Good Time. That's the '70s show with J.J. Walker.
That's the
which is a good show, by the way.
Uncut Gems is really good. I saw that in the theaters, at TIFF, and it was crazy. Like everybody was going insane at the ending. So the Safdie brothers made those two movies. They're phenomenal directors. So go check out those movies.
Back to the Batman though. Batman, fucking good. Robert Pattinson killed it. What the hell, Zoe Kravitz? Again, didn't have high hopes. I don't follow her career. I don't know much about her.
Yeah, she was the one I was skeptical of because she doesn't really pick good projects. So, but she did a good job.
She did a good job. I didn't like the whole spoiler alert. I didn't like Selena Kyle being the daughter of Falcone.
Well, there's a little bit of that in the comics. They don't really go too much of it.
I haven't read any DC in the last 30 years. So
I forget where that was introduced. It's not in an Elseworld story from my memory, but they don't really go too much into it. It's more like what's in the movie. Like that she's kind of like they don't he doesn't know or she doesn't know and they kind of just ignore it. It's not really that big of a deal, even in the movie too.
Well, I think it is a big deal in the movie, and here's why I think it's a big deal in the movie. I think the overall theme of the movie was fathers and expectations, because Selena Kyle's father basically let her get taken away by foster care, put into the system, didn't care about her. Batman's father, who he thinks is a good man, turns out maybe he, did a little shadiness. I don't want to spoil it too much, but he did a little dirt.
Well, I mean, this is a spoilers, but he didn't.
He did ask. Okay, full spoiler. Thomas Wayne approaches.
We might as well go into spoilers.
Yeah, rewind. At some point, Falcone gets shot in the past. He stumbles over to the Wayne Manor because Thomas Wayne is a doctor and he can't go to the hospital because the hospital will call the cops. So he goes to the Wayne Manor and he basically, holds them hostage and is like, fuck it, you saved my life. I got a fucking bullet wound or whatever. And Thomas Wayne patches him up. Falcone's basically like, hey, I owe you one, buddy. All the typical mobster, I owe you one for saving my life. Look out for you. So fast forward, Thomas Wayne is running for mayor, and a journalist, one of those nasty journalist people, fuck those guys, he finds out that Martha Wayne is related to the Arkhams, and that she was in and out of asylums as a child. She has a, it was buried. Basically, no one knows about it. It was hush hushed.
Mhm.
He's going to expose it. It is later on said by Falcone whether or not it's hard to tell whether he was lying to Bruce and just saying that Maroni was behind the journalist, or if he really was. But that's his reason. He said that Maroni was behind the journalist because Maroni didn't want Thomas Wayne to be indebted to Falcone, because then Falcone would run the city. So that's why he was trying to make sure that Thomas Wayne didn't win the election. So when Thomas Wayne finds out that, hey, they're going to expose Martha Wayne for, being batshit crazy in the past, he goes to Falcone and he's like, hey, could you go rough that dude up a little and make sure that he doesn't print the story, and then he fucking buries all the evidence, blah, blah, blah. So Falcone goes over there and fucking kills the dude. He basically tells Thomas Wayne, hey, fucking kill that dude. Now you owe me one. So when you're the mayor, I'm really the mayor. So then Thomas Wayne's like, fuck that shit. I'm going to go tell the police because I didn't want that dude killed, and now I feel bad. Just kill that dude. Then things get kind of muddled there, because they don't really explain at what point Falcone has the Waynes killed, right? Like,
Yeah.
because, again, like, okay, so Falcone has told Thomas Wayne, hey, I killed the reporter guy. And Thomas Wayne has expressed that he don't like that. And we don't see the murder. There's no, like, reference to the murder that I can see in the movie. Like the crime alley, the pearls on the floor. They just
You're just supposed to assume.
Yeah, but so then if you assume that that's the canon death scene, right? That means Thomas Wayne has just found out that Falcone killed a dude. He's decided he's going to go to the police, but before he does that, he's got to go see Zorro with the family and then get shot in crime alley.
Yeah, it does, I guess, seem a little weird.
Or conversely, he tells the police, and the police are working for Falcone, and they blow him off or tell him, like, don't worry, we're going to do it, and then he gets murdered. But we don't really know. Like, there's no concrete, like, yeah, he went to the police. Because obviously, because nobody knows about it, right? Because it's all hush-hushed. So it's kind of weird, like, how the chain of events went down that led to his murder exactly.
This was the part I didn't like about the movie, because it just felt like, one, it was all told through exposition, so there was no visuals to go and off of the story, right? And then on top of that too, it just feels like it feels almost like a rewrite. That's what it felt like to me, because it's like, oh, they can't have Thomas Wayne do something bad, so they're like, oh, we got to change it so it makes him look like he's okay, which I feel like is such a problem. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, they got to make the rich guy bad or whatever. That's like the complaint people were having before they saw the movie. And to be honest, I mean, like, I don't really have an issue with that. It gives them more depth, and it makes Batman have to, like, grapple with his family not being totally good. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's more in line with the character. Like, Batman doesn't, even though he's trying to do good, a lot of bad does come out of it, right? Especially in certain stories. So, I don't know. It felt weird to me. And, like, the movie, and I was saying this, like, last month when I first saw it, that the movie does remind me of the Telltale's games a lot. Just, like, the whole conspiracy with the Waynes and what they do with the Joker and, Alfred too. And so I thought that they should have just kept on with that. The Waynes have this darker side to them, or they're kind of gray, and it would have made it more modern. Like, it's a modern retelling of Batman, right? But so many people don't want that, which I feel is, I don't know, it's so weird that people just like, oh, they have to be good. They have to be these, like, above elites, and they're not like the rest. It's like, no, let them, yeah. It's just not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, oh, all rich people are evil or whatever. No, but, like, all of us are, like, gray morally, right? Like, we do some things that are good, and then sometimes it might lead to something that's bad, right? So it just adds more depth to the story.
Real quick, Rabbit Dude says, would you recommend the Batman movie to anyone who hasn't seen it before? If you're at all interested in Batman, then yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
if you have any interest in seeing it, if you looked at the movie trailer and you're like, that might be a good movie to watch, then go ahead and watch it. You'll like it. But if you're just like, you have no Batman anything, like you don't care about superhero movies or Batman movies, I wouldn't recommend it.
I feel like even if you don't like superhero movies, you might actually like this. I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's slow and boring" or whatever, but it's like I never really got that impression from it because it still had some suspense in the movie, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So it was different to what we get with Marvel, right? So, and I just liked it mostly because the craftsmanship that went into it, like the cinematography and the whole process of how they got that look. Right? They had to they shot it in digital and then they had to convert it to film, and it's all interesting to me and as like someone who is a filmmaker and photographer. So that part was interesting for me.
Speaking of you being a filmmaker, not to go off on a tangent, but when's the first porno coming out?
The first oh man, I actually I don't even want to say that on stream, so forget about it.
Off stream,
It's coming. Let's say this
on the after show. Hell yeah! All right, back on track. Isaiah Israel says, "I like the new Batman a lot, but the plot had a lot of issues. Batman wanted by the police 1 minute, working with them, and allowed to meet the Riddler the next." He says, "Don't get me started on the Penguin hit and run rampage. Penguin and Batman have no repercussions for all the damage and death on the highway. Penguin is back at the club the next day."
Well, there was actually no deaths on the highway, actually.
And I think the Penguin, he was not identified. Like the police weren't chasing him. Batman was chasing him. So,
and I feel like people forget that, and this is another problem with the movie, is I another scene that I don't like is when Batman comes out and oh, there's all these good police officers. It's like, really? You know what I mean? Like, I wish it was just like everybody's gray in the movie. It's supposed to be a noir movie. If you've seen, what's a interesting noir movie? Like The Third Man, like these older 40s noir movies, they're all gray. You know what I mean? There's no good guy or bad guy. People do questionable things. And to add that to the Batman mythology, which is already there in the comics, it makes sense, right? Like cops are corrupt. Batman does some shady stuff. Politicians are corrupt. Like, let that world exist. You know what I mean? Like, it's not Superman. It's not Wonder Woman. So, I just thought that was another part I didn't like.
To add a counterpoint to that, I think you're going to assume that those were all good cops at the end. There could have been just a bunch of cops that were like, fuck, we better switch sides back to the good guys because the shit's going to start hitting the fan,
Yeah.
Okay, so
I can say that. Yeah.
Isaiah Israel, he says, Riddler turning himself in was very weird and not in line with his character, in my opinion. People arguing he turned himself in to be safe from the floods. A lot of places to be safe from the flood. I think he turned himself in not just to be safe from the floods, but the police were looking for him. Right?
I thought it was just he's. Yeah, go finish.
I was going to say, to ensure that the police were where they needed to be. He wanted to make sure that the mayor and everybody was in the safe zone, right? And by removing himself from the equation, they weren't worried about the Riddler showing up and fucking blowing people up at the thing. They didn't realize he had Riddler henchmen, whatever you want to call them, question marks, right? So they just assumed, hey, it was safe, and we got the police there. It's the mayor's safe, the mayor-elect is all fucking taken care of. The flooding's happening.
Yeah.
The flooding was now the issue because he took himself off the board.
Yeah, I got the impression that the Riddler was he doesn't really care, right? Like his life is so shit anyway, right? Like who cares if he gets arrested because he's trying to start up this uprising. It was very much like the Joker movie, right? Which is I kind of hope that going forward we don't have all these villains that end up being just like the Joker, but a different skin and a different origin, right? So, again, I guess that would be some of my criticisms of the movie.
Heavy spoiler, the end of the Batman, the Riddler and the Joker having a little conversation, being friends. Do you think this is going to lead to the? I don't want to say a direct taking from the comics, but more of a reference to the War of Jokes and Riddles storyline.
Well, that was a fairly recent thing. So like I still don't know much about it. And I don't like the writer who wrote that. And not to say I don't like him, but I don't like him writing Batman. It always turned me off. So I'm gonna say probably not. Like my assumption was that this was building to like an Arkham show or something like that, where we're gonna see more people in there, right? We know Joker's in there. There's probably gonna be a bunch of other people who end up right, like Two-Face and maybe Poison Ivy. I can't really see in this universe, but we'll see. So that's more my take.
It depends on how far they go with, right? Because it is grounded at this point. It's grounded.
Yeah.
But someone like a Harley Quinn, she has super strength. Poison Ivy controls plants and does all kind of weird stuff. Killer Croc's a giant fucking crocodile. Solomon Grundy's a zombie. Batman villains get as they progress through the years, they get a little bit more meta-human.
Yes, yeah. I think if they find a way that makes sense, like that's why I know. I think it was 1 Inch was talking about. Oh, isn't it kind of weird that they drew a comparison to the Zodiac Killer? And I was like, yeah, it is kind of morbid, but we are so distant from that. That case. So it kind of does make sense to bring some real world elements into it, right? Just to ground it. So you have to find that something that is very similar to. Not saying like there's a criminal case like Poison Ivy, but I'm just saying like something that makes sense to blend with the character to make it be like, oh yeah, I can see, this person existing, right? Like the Riddler, right? The Zodiac Killer was the Riddler, right? So it just makes sense.
Poison Ivy, they could make her more of like a Black Widow type, where she kills people with plant poisons, but not actually controls plants and like fucking, just like make her more of a human that uses plant poison, and maybe she runs in some kind of arboretum or some bullshit. I don't know. I'm not a fucking Batman dude. Same thing.
Something like that. Yeah. Like
Killer Croc could just be a strong dude that has like a skin condition that makes him look like a fucking crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's now that I'm thinking about it, there is a reference to Bane in this movie. At the ending when he takes that this sort of steroids, the venom. So that was interesting because that's a whole arc in the comic, right, where he gets addicted to venom and all that stuff.
Yeah. So overall, I think it was a good movie. I would recommend it to anybody who's interested in Batman and Batman, DC comics, psychological thrillers in general. If you're interested in those type of movies.
It's very much like Seven, like especially with Batman and Gordon. It's like Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, but I do like the fake out. It's not at the end because Riddler is captured and he's in jail before the end of the movie. There's still like another 20 minutes. When Batman's going up there, and Batman is convinced that the Riddler knows that he's fucking Bruce Wayne, right? So he's going in there with that like mindset. And then the Riddler pulls a 180 and he's like, dude, me and you can fucking take out Bruce Wayne and fucking be partners. And Batman's like, oh shit, what the fuck?
I did like that scene because it was the way it was framed. It was very misleading, and I thought it was done well to trick the audience. Yeah.
Overall, good movie. From the Batman to a giant red panda. I saw Turning Red. I remember there was all kind of controversy about this movie.
Yeah.
All kind of people sexualizing minors. That was what the claim. Disney has gone too far. It's crazy. It's all kind of shit. Don't let your kids see it. Hide your kids. Hide your wife. Disney's raping everybody. I remember that.
There's lots of crazy stuff about this.
And it was actually a fucking good movie. I laughed. I was laughing more than Sidekick Max. Sidekick Max, like, you're laughing more than me. You like the movie more than I do. You'll
That's
go online,
interesting.
you'll see a lot of people comparing it to Teen Wolf. It is a fucking perfect comparison. There's plot points like fucking lifted like wholesale from Teen Wolf.
Hmm.
The she's like a 13-year-old. She's 13. Uh, she's turning into a woman. They make it real clear that this is not a allegory for fucking Aunt Flo visiting, right? It's not about periods.
Hmm.
They make a joke. They kind of joking like she's embarrassed that she turned into a panda, and the mom's like, "Oh, it must be that time," and she's like they make a few jokes about it, but they make it clear that that's not what it is, right?
Hmm.
But it is like Teen Wolf, she turns into a panda, she tries to hide it, then the parents reveal, hey, we actually can turn into the panda too, and that's a family thing, just like in Teen Wolf when he's like, the dad's like, hey, I could turn into a werewolf too, son, and it runs in the family, we're fucking werewolf people. So they get that.
That's hilarious.
You get the whole where like in Teen Wolf again, where he was hiding it from the school, and then someone finds out and they're like, oh shit, you're a fucking wolf, this is awesome. Right? And she does the same thing. She's hiding it, and then they find out, and it's fucking awesome, and she becomes super popular. And just like Teen Wolf, Teen Wolf attacks somebody, and then all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Oh shit, this guy's dangerous." Fucking same thing. Panda chick attacks somebody, and they're like, "Whoa, she might be kind of dangerous."
Oh damn.
There's a lot of story beats. It's like it's fucking Teen Wolf, right? Just a 13-year-old girl instead of a 16, 17-year-old Michael J. Fox.
Mm.
The character
I saw
is funny as hell. I like it. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say there's so much controversy. Like people just want to like hate on this movie. I haven't seen it, so I can't like really say. But like just like crazy stuff like why didn't they reference 9/11 in it? Like there was a guy with a turban on, and they're like, hey, why is there a dude with a turban on? It's like, have you been to Toronto?
Dude, it was just
Like,
a Sikh. Like that was the first thing I said. Oh, dude, look,
yeah.
I told Psychic back. So, like they got a fucking Sikh as the security guard.
Well, if you come in Toronto, it's like there's a bunch of people. I mean, there's a lot of Indian people of all sorts, right? Like Sikh and Punjabi and like Hindu, and so like that's how it's like I'm like, okay, most people talking about this are American, because like here it's like this movie to me, it felt like when they're complaining about it, I'm like, I think it's probably because it's a Canadian movie. Like the director was Canadian, I forget her name, but she yeah, she was like an animator here, and then she got picked up at Pixar, and then she made a short film and it won an Oscar. So I was figuring that that's why people just didn't like the movie. It has Canadian elements that are, I don't know, maybe don't jive with Americans well. That was kind of my impression, but
I think it was just people wanting to be upset. That's what it is.
yeah, that too. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, and I'm going to reveal this here for the first time ever, but I'm not a 13-year-old girl or an Asian.
Yes.
I'm not a 13-year-old Asian girl from Toronto. And yet, I did enjoy the movie, and there was relatable things in the movie, despite the fact that I'm not a 13-year-old Asian Toronto chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea that they sexualized her, like she was like boy crazy, like it wasn't that bad, right? It was just like, oh, they like a boy band, and she's like, oh, she stares dreamily at some dude that has like emo hair, right? It wasn't like she's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking bang some dude. I'm like, oh, I need to be banged. Like it was like, whoa, that didn't happen. Like you're reading way too much into this.
Jesus, okay.
Like teenage people, like because at one point they're like talking about the boy that works at the Quickie Mart or whatever the version in the movie is. The little fucking gas station shop supermarket, whatever shit.
Okay.
Fucking Canadian, you know what I'm talking about. So there's like an older boy that works there, and they're talking about him like, oh, he's dreamy, and she's like, well, I like the fucking boys from the band Ford Town or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but this dude's here, right? Like we can't go hold hands with Ford Town, but this dude's here. And then the main chick, May, she goes home and she's thinking about what happened, and then she just starts drawing pictures of the dude. She's like, oh yeah, he is cute. And she's like, she draws him as a mermaid or whatever, right? It's like very innocent 13-year-old stuff, right? It's not like
Yeah.
she wasn't like drawing hentai, like fucking, right? But the mother freaks out because the mother is so overprotective of the daughter that she sees the stuff and she like her reaction is like, oh my god, she's looking at it like it is hentai, but it's not, right? It's just regular 13-year-old girl art.
No stuff. Yeah.
So it was very funny, relatable. Like if you're a parent, you'll know. Like I guess a lot of the people that were complaining probably don't have kids, don't know how kids are, or don't remember being a kid. When I was that age, we were fucking, trying to sneak Playboys and stuff, and we were interested in girls, and yeah, I'm closing my eyes. I'm not looking at the naked chick in Teen Wolf. I'm not looking at the naked chick in Friday the 13th. There was a lot of naked chicks in the 80s, by the way. Like every fucking movie had some
Yeah,
tits.
there was. Yep.
It's like, what are you watching? Sesame Street. Close your eyes. There's tits on the screen. Like, what? Yeah, well, Big Bird's escaping. There's just titties. Like, that's how it wasn't that bad. I didn't say that Sesame Street has titties. I was just making a joke. But yeah, it's not that bad. It's a funny movie. The secondary characters are very entertaining. There's not a lot of white people in the movie. Maybe that's the complaint. There's like one white chick. That's like the best friend. But I mean,
that would be a weird complaint, but
I've seen people complain about weirder stuff. Because I guess you think of Canada as being a white country, and you're like, oh, there's this like fucking multicultural friend group here. It's like an Asian.
I mean, Toronto is pretty diverse. Yeah.
Yeah, but Americans don't know that, right? So they just see like there's a movie starring a Chinese chick, and her best friend is a white girl, and then there's a Indian girl and a Korean girl. Like,
yeah, it's so weird because like especially growing up in Toronto, like I never saw people as being white. Like if someone was like what we considered white, it was usually they were Portuguese, they were Italian, or like they were from Britain. You know what I mean? Yeah, they weren't like I never encountered people that were just like Canadian, right? Especially in Toronto. So I was like, I don't know. It was so weird to me, like growing up, and then hearing people say like black and white. I'm like, I wouldn't call someone that was from fucking. I need a country like Nigeria black because they would get offended, right? Like they would get upset because they're like, no, I'm not. My ancestors weren't slaves or whatever it is, right? Some people like to say stuff like that. So, and then there's other people who are like, no, I'm from the Caribbean, and like my mom's from the Caribbean, so it's like, that's why, especially, I'm a pirate from the Caribbean. But no, but like that's how we would talk here, right? So it's like very interesting when like my cousins would come over, and then they would be like. They would see me and then they would just be like, oh, you're a white guy. I'm like, people wouldn't identify me here as a white guy. So it's like, it's just funny to see like the cultural perspective of Canadians and Americans.
Yeah. Chappie says if you split all the Pixar movies into top and bottom tiers, where does this movie belong? WALL-E tier or Good Dinosaur tier? Well, WALL-E's not the top. I wouldn't put WALL-E as the number one movie. Right, if that's what you're trying to do here. WALL-E's probably, in my opinion, about the third or fourth movie in the whole lineup of Pixar. Good Dinosaur.
I like WALL-E though.
I do like WALL-E, but it's not the best. Toy Story 3, fucking cried. I'm not
really
ashamed to admit it. When they're holding hands going into the incinerator, fucking tear.
Oh man, I don't know. I've been. Like I love Pixar movies, but like recently I just been like I have to pick and choose because I'm not a fan of their new sequels, right? Like Finding Dory was just complete trash. So I skipped Incredibles 2. I watched Soul.
I haven't watched Soul.
I like Soul. It was interesting, but yeah, and I didn't see Luca, and I didn't see this one. So
yeah, I didn't see Luca either.
Yeah. And I stopped watching Onward. I watched like halfway, and then I was just like, I don't like this movie at all. So I just turned it off. Never finished it.
I would say Up, for me, is probably their best movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
but The Good Dinosaur is probably their worst.
Yeah, and I never got to see that one either. Like, when did that come out? 2014?
Something like that. It's
Yeah.
really bad. I think it's just slow. It's just you're so atypical of a Pixar movie
Mm,
that you're like, wow, this is bad. But
damn.
for this movie, where it would go, I would think it would go not in the middle of the pack, a little higher than the middle. Like, it'd be like a B tier movie.
Beer
Right.
tier.
It is good, very interesting, very funny. I guess like because for me, like I grew up in the '90s, when there was boy bands was everywhere, and that was like a thing. New Kids in the Block. The hell's the other one? The one that Bobby Brown was a part of. New Edition. You had Velvet the Bow. You had all those, boy bands and stuff. So I kind of knew, you saw that growing up, like that experience. I'm sure kids in the 2000s had the same thing.
No,
like
it's
Motown and
still going on now.
Boys to Men and all that shit, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you grew up and you remember that, you're like, yeah, I do remember girls being like that with boy bands, and it's just how it is. It wasn't over sexualized at all.
No, yeah.
It was just a movie about kids being kids. That whole like thing is a very small part of the movie. There's no political thing. There's no like in your face, like ham-fisted message about like them being minorities. I know there was some people saying it was an anti-Christian movie because they're Chinese and they don't celebrate like Christian holidays and stuff. Like I think they mentioned one thing about like not celebrating Christmas or something, like some like offhand comment. Like
Okay.
The animation is fucking top notch. There's a scene real early in the movie where the dad's cooking dinner and the fucking food looked realistic. You're like, holy shit. I want to eat that food. They're showing
Pixar's animation is like, it looks realistic, but then it's not. Yeah. And I think sometimes I think that was one of the reasons why people didn't like The Good Dinosaurs, because it was like hyper realistic, and then you have this cartoony looking dinosaur. So it's just like, what the hell is this? So I think it's like both a good thing and a bad thing.
Real quick, what would be your top 3 Pixar movies?
Top 3, I would say. Oh fuck.
Oh fuck! I haven't seen that one. Is it good?
Imagine if they did make something like that. Oh fuck, that was the title. Oh my god. No, I was gonna say, it's just so hard to pick. Like, I would probably say Up is 1. Fuck, like 2 would probably have to be Monsters Inc. And then 3 would be Toy Story 2.
Wow. I would say for me, Up number 1 is fucking great. It works on so many levels. So I know, even though by the end of the movie, like if you sit down and think about it, you're like, wait a minute, why was the old guy like almost the same as the bad old guy, right? Like the good old guy and the bad old guy were like the same age, but when he was a kid, the bad old guy was like 30 years older than him. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But don't think about it, right? It's a good movie.
Yeah.
You're crying like fucking before the credits even roll. Like at the very beginning, the opening little montage. You're like, oh shit, this is fucking.
Yeah, it's dark. Hard. Yeah.
It got deep real quick, right? I like Coco. Obviously, I'm a little biased.
I haven't seen Coco. That's another one.
Oh, you got.
I just skipped.
It's fucking. All the references to Latino actors and actresses and celebrities and stuff, real good. I had a grandma, an old Mexican grandma like that, and it was like, oh shit, my great grandma kind of looked like Coco. Coco's the
That's
mother,
funny.
The mother, like the old grandma.
Okay.
It's real good. And again, you're fucking. I'm getting soft in my old age, but I'm like at the very end. I don't want to spoil it, but at the very end, there's a big touching scene, in fucking tears. Like fucking Niagara Falls, just full blown. Can't help it. Having a kid made me soft. So that, and then I would say Toy Story 3, because it was like full circle. Like, you know, I had kids, seen Toy Story 2, you know, grew up with these characters. But then by Toy Story 3, there's like, you know, the little boy from Toy Story's all grown up and everything. And like, my kids like fucking almost all grown up. And it's just, I guess it was like a personal thing, but hit me like that.
Because for me, these Pixar movies, like I was watching them as like really young, right? So, because I was obsessed with Incredibles. That was one that like I was just obsessed with. But like when I think about it now, it's probably not one of my favorite. So, but like the other three, those ones I've watched a lot. So, and they always had an impression on me. And when I reflect on it, it still does. So.
And Tommy Remiko says, "Remember Me." That song hits. Like, there's a song in Blind to Braille in Coco. Spoiler, but they go and the guy that he meets, the skeleton he meets, can play the guitar, and he's playing it for the older skeleton that's going to pass into the next world, because it's about remembering your ancestors, and if you don't put them on the ofrenda, they disappear. Right? If people stop talking about you, you disappear from heaven after so many years. Right? So this dude's going to disappear because no one remembers him anymore. So he asks the skeleton, he goes, "Hey, sing me a song. Sing me that song again, right? You know, just one more time." So he starts singing this song, and it sounds exactly like an old Mexican song, you know, like a little what the fuck you call that, like a lullaby, or like, you know, like a little jokey song that you would hear, you know. But it's not like, it's a completely brand new song made for the movie, but they nailed the fucking feel of the song so much that you would swear that this is like an old song that's been passed down from fucking generation to generation. Fucking great. And then the big song, "Remember Me," fucking fantastic. Coco's fantastic. Love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, you gotta watch it and give us your review. You're gonna come back and be like, "That movie fucking sucks. It's fucking shitty."
No, I think I'm gonna probably like it, but I wish I saw it in the theater when it came out. I just didn't have the chance to.
But yeah, there was a lot of movies though, Pixar wise. Not to derail this any further than we already have, but at one point I was watching every Pixar movie, like bam, 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 bam. And then at some point, like Onward, I've never seen Onward. Luca.
Yeah.
What else is there? Soul, I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's like that for me too. Because I saw Toy Story 4, but I didn't see Incredibles 2. And then I think it was probably around, maybe it was like Monsters University, where I felt like, what the hell are they doing? Or like Cars. Like I was obsessed with Cars as a kid, but like it's just growing up, it looked so stupid. You know what I mean? You only bought it because the toys look cool. That was it. But the movie sucked.
Well, Incredibles 2 sucked. I saw that in the theater. That movie was garbage.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It was just bad, like all around.
You didn't need a sequel for that, but they just, I don't know. They just kind of ran out of ideas.
Yeah. Toy Story 4. Was disappointed they even made that. I thought Toy Story 3 was a nice fucking end cap on the series. But I think that's it. That's all we got for this. Any final thoughts on the Batman?
One more thing about the Pixar. I probably will see Lightyear, just out of curiosity. And there was something. What was another movie that? I guess it doesn't really matter. But like Pixar makes like they're kind of hit and miss now. You know what I mean? Like they still have some talent there, but I think Disney kind of gets in the way sometimes. But yeah, I just remembered. I'm surprised they haven't made a Bug's Life sequel. That is the one thing I don't understand. Like, how come all these other ones got sequels except for Bug's Life? Just kind of weird for me.
Bug's Life was pretty good, though. I get that.
Yeah.
Well, Inside Out hasn't got a sequel yet.
Well, I mean, like the ones out of their, you know, every single one that came out, there was like this thing where originally Pixar came up with 6 movies that they were going to make for Disney, and the original 6 was Toy Story, Bugs Life, Incredibles, Monsters Inc., and then Wall-E, and then how much was that? Was that 5? And then I think maybe, and then Up, right? And then Disney went back to them, right? Because Toy Story was such a success. And then they were like, oh, can you make Toy Story 2? So then they added on to it, right? And so after a certain point, people started seeing that, oh, there's a dip in quality. And it was because the original team that created those 6 movies, and I guess Toy Story 2, they left. And so they had to fill in and come up with other ideas. So I always thought it was, and now Disney is going back and trying to make sequels to those 6 movies, right? I mean, we haven't got Up and Wall-E yet, which is also kind of weird. Well, Ratatouille was, I guess maybe it was more than 6 then, but I don't remember if Ratatouille was part of that. But yeah,
we haven't got a sequel to Bugs Life, Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Brave, Inside Out, Coco,
and then all these other new ones. Yeah.
And then the new ones, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, for the ones that were, because like Bugs Life was probably successful at the box office, Wall-E and all of them. So I'm just like kind of surprised that they haven't gone, nostalgia's in, let's make sequels to these older movies now. You know what I mean? So
all right, real quick before we get off this topic, Miko Nader Carl says Cars 3 is probably his favorite movie from Pixar. I never seen Cars.
I have never seen it. Yeah.
Cars 2 was enough for me. And Tommy O says Bugs Life was just Seven Samurai. It was in a way, but it also had the liars reveal trope in there where, you know, they're pretending to be something or not, and then it gets revealed, and then they get shunned by the people, and then they have to come back and save the day anyway.
Mm.
Bugs Life, actually, if you really think about it, Bugs Life was closer to the Three Amigos than Seven Samurai. Because they thought they were heroes, and they pretended to be heroes, and then they turned out that they weren't heroes. Fuck it, we're going to be heroes anyway. And Chappie says, probably because Laster has some special rights to Bug Life. That's probably why we haven't got it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I didn't know that either. But I think that's it for that. Batman, go see it. Turning Red is good. I'll probably see the other movies. I have Disney Plus, so I don't know why I haven't seen the other ones. I'll probably see those other ones.
Yeah.
Sometime.
You like binge watch all of them or something.
Yeah. What's up, 1 Inch Biceps? It's in the house.
What's up?
Soul was pretty much a sequel to Inside Out. That's what I heard a lot of people say that.
Not really. No. They're very different. Like maybe like the idea of like these soul like things, right? But no, I think Soul is a better movie than Inside Out. So
Meet the Robinsons is not Pixar, right?
No. That's a Disney animated movie.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a good movie though. But
yeah.
It's not Pixar. The Incredibles is pretty bad if you've seen the adult movies it's based on. Not sure what you mean, Tommy. Not sure what you mean. What's up, Retro Game Puppy? He's only 91 minutes late. Yeah, Isaiah Israel cried enough. See, I'm not the only one crying during these movies.
Most people talk about. Well, I mean, most people talk about how Pixar movies are supposed to be emotional, and I mean that's the whole point of movies. They're supposed to bring out emotions, so I don't really see a big deal about it.
Pimps don't cry.
It's a dark theater. You can wipe your tears, and no one will notice.
That was a reference to the other guys. I don't know if you got that.
No, I didn't. Went over my head.
Yeah. Have you seen the other guys?
No.
Oh, fucking Will Ferrell. In the movie, Will Ferrell, he's married to, what the fuck's her name?
That's the one with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell. Come on, she's in Training Day. She's the girlfriend in Training Day. Eva Mendes. So he's married to her, right? And they're telling the story of how they met, and he had poison ivy on his asshole when he went into the
The fuck?
emergency room. Yeah, right. So they're like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "This pimp came in with poison ivy in his asshole, and he tears down his face." And he's like, that he was trying to be all tough, and she's like, "No, I told him pimps don't cry. That's how I knew you were a good person because pimps don't cry."
What? Who made this movie? I feel like every
It's a
time I
fucking
see
funny
the other
movie.
guys,
You gotta watch it.
maybe I'm mixing other guys with that. This like Kevin Smith movie with what is it? I think Bruce Willis is in it. It was a terrible movie, but it kind of reminds me of the other guys when I see the like posters or clips. I don't know why.
Other guys is funny as fuck. Watch it. I want to get to this comment here. I think it was Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah said, "Thoughts on the new Slopes Amico video? Did you see the new DJ Slope video about the Amico?"
No.
Well, basically, he was trying to backpedal a little, like, "Hey, I was just being respectful to Tommy. That's why I didn't go too hard on him, and wasn't really aware of all the things going on. And I didn't research it good enough, and it wasn't
Damage
a
control.
full mea culpa, but it was like a semi, like, hey, I fucked up, but let me explain to you why I fucked up, and don't get too mad at me." And
Okay.
it seemed more like he was trying to save face, like, hey, everybody's coming at me now because it's such a dumpster fire, and I was promoting it. Let me tell you why I wasn't really promoting it, guys.
I feel like he will, because I've seen this comment around. People are saying, "Oh, he's gonna make like those Kickstarter videos on it." I could see him doing something like that.
Yeah. Well, he announced he's making a kick scammer on it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
He's
I
just
figured.
waiting for it to either come out or go
Not
bankrupt.
come out. Yeah. Yeah.
And he has reached out to several people within the Miko sphere, if you will, for their input. I'm going to reserve judgment until I see it, but I have a feeling it's going to be slanted in a favorable direction towards wasn't a scam, was good intentions, haters derailed the project type thing. Like
What a
haters
shame.
forced his hand, one of those type deals.
That'd be a shame.
Yeah, it will. Because I heard, and I don't know if this is true. I don't follow DJ Slope. So if this is not true, if he's watching by any chance, or he finds out that I said this, I heard through the grapevine that he shit on the Paprium fiasco, that Genesis game that was coming out, the beat 'em up. It had all kind of controversy. Like he was shitting on it really hard. And now he's supposedly working with the guy to release something else.
Oh boy. But hasn't he done something similar, or is that maybe just the same story?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't follow him. Like this is the first I've heard of him. Like the whole Amico thing was the first I heard. I don't follow
Slopes that he does. I do like some of his videos. Those Kickstarter videos, they're interesting. So that's why I'm like, I swore he like in his videos there was like a scenario that was similar. Like there was a game that didn't happen, and then he teamed up with them, and I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Tommy O says Larry Bundy better retract his bullshit as well. I don't think Larry's going to be retracting, though he did have issues getting his refund. I helped him reach out to the CEO, so hopefully Larry gets his refund. Slope told me personally on his stream that my album was right all along. Yeah, but here's the thing. It's one thing to say something in a chat, a live stream chat, right? It's a very another thing to make a video saying it. Like how many people are going to see this live stream or the other live stream chat and be like, oh, that's what he thinks.
Probably
Thousands
not.
of
Yeah.
times more are going to see the kick scammer video. That's the one that needs to fucking hammer home the point. Chupacabra says Slope should recuse himself from doing a kick scammer thing. He's compromised. Well, I've said this before. I said that everybody, basically, the only people that could tell the story are also the only people that shouldn't tell the story, right? Like me. I know so much more than like so many people, but I am so biased. Like anything that I would come out with would be just like, no, you can't trust Tony Slant, right? 1 Inch Bicep says, I don't see what he's got to apologize for. Well, here's the thing, 1 Inch. By the time Slopes did his interview with Tommy, so many things had came out already, right? And he pretended like none of that existed. Like the Jay Allard thing, like the Neil Patel video, the Toe Jam and Earl thing. Like there was so many things along the way that by the time he did his interview, he should have been in full skeptic mode. Like he would just ask Tommy a question, Tommy would say a thing, and he'd be like, "Okay, hey Tommy, you got that contra license? Yeah, we got it. Okay. Like, hey Tommy, you gonna talk to the people for this license? Yeah, we're fucking great friends with them. Everyone loves us. There's a list on the Intellivision_Amico subreddit that shows all the companies that supposedly he's talked to, right? One of the companies he's claimed to have talked to the original team behind Worms, right? Well, that developer came out recently and said he ain't never talked to Tommy about this shit.
Jeez.
So there you go. Remember, DJ Slope, me, nobody, Mr. Nobody on the internet, has talked to many, many people about this situation, right? I was able to reach out to people, find things out. DJ Slope, being who he is, with connections that he has, should have been able to vet the situation 10 times better than I ever could. And I think that's why people have an issue. He interviewed the guy, doesn't mean you got to back it. This is true, but like I said, his whole brand is kick scammers and stuff, right? It would be like, who's the dude that had Take a Seat dude?
Chris Hansen?
Yeah, Chris Hansen. Imagine if Chris Hansen interviewed R. Kelly, right? And just let R. Kelly bullshit him the whole time about the teenage girl thing. You'd be like, dude, Chris Hansen, your whole fucking identity is you're the Take a Seat guy. You fucking bust pedos. And you're letting R. Kelly just bullshit you, right? Well, I'm not mad at McDonald's for selling you Big Macs, but I could be mad at Jane Fonda for telling me that Big Macs are healthy when Jane Fonda's whole gimmick is that she's a fitness person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the thing. That's the angle. Yeah, see, Beefy, I agree. When he did that interview, there was enough for it to already be on the kick. Yeah, he says, Tommy O says, yes, Slope and Larry Bundy were both blind as fuck because they thought the big Tommy professional background made him being a liar impossible. Larry, for Larry's part, he is interested in weird, wacky consoles. He was going to get it regardless. I've talked to him both on air and off air, right? So he's like, I'm going to get that shit anyway. Even if it was a whole debacle, he's like, I still want it because I want the weird little fucking console. And he doesn't really have a brand where he's like going out. Like the fact that he even talked to me on the air, like in an official interview capacity about it was like a rare one-off. Like he usually don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. Like I said, if he approached me, if he was like, hey, what do you got? I will say this. If DJ Slope approaches me for information, right, I will tell him that I will provide him information. However, it will not be off the record. Everything in our conversation regarding this situation that would be going towards his kick scammer video will be on the record. So should he ever arise into a situation where people ask him, well, why didn't you include X? He will not be able to say, I don't know about X. No one told me, because I will say, here is proof of me telling you about X. You chose not to put it in your video. You're free to choose to put in whatever you want, right? It's your video. You're making the video. But you will not have reign to deny that you knew of its existence, is what I'm saying. I will hold you to account in that regards. No, he's not responsible for Miko being a failure. He's not. It's not. But again, I'll give you an example. One inch bicep. When Phil Adams said there was X amount of games ready, right? He was talking to Mike Mullison, and he said, "Hey, we got 15 games ready." Not a single one of them said, "Well, wait a minute. Tommy told us they had 20 games ready. Why is there a discrepancy?" That's what a normal interviewer would say, right? He would say, "Wait a minute. A couple of days ago there was 20 games. You're telling me there's 15. Why is there a discrepancy? What's going on?" When Phil Adams said that they're going to have some news coming up, not a single person was like, "Wait a minute, you've told us this before. Why is this time different from all those other times? You've lied to me 6 times. Why should I believe you on the 7th?" Right? There's a difference between interviewing somebody. I'm not telling you to be a jackass. I'm not saying attack the person. Right? It wasn't a promotional interview. It wasn't like he has like a late night talk show that they're promoting the product, right? That's a different type of interview. It was a situation where he was supposed to be like, "Give me the hard questions. I'm going to answer the questions, and we're going to find actual information about the project." That makes sense. Hopefully it does. Do you disagree, Blinded? I don't want to like steamroll the conversation.
No. It's sort of a blind field, but I get what you're saying, so I don't really have much to say, is what I mean.
Like, here's the difference. Like, if Jay Leno was talking to Mel Gibson, right, I would expect one type of interview. If Barbara Walters was talking to Mel Gibson, I would expect a different type of interview, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying like
it's just to hold people accountable. You know what I mean? The people who are, especially with their platforms, they are going to have some reach, right?
Yeah.
So
Beefy's right. People were really bad with follow-up questions. That's all people wanted. Was a simple follow-up. Like, you tell me that Contra is going to come on the system, and I'm like, wait a minute. You told this other dude that it wasn't. Like, they wouldn't just that. There's something as simple as that they wouldn't do. They would just be like, "Oh, okay, Tommy, fucking fantastic.
Mhm.
You're like a brother to me. Hug you."
No, it was more of a promotional interview. That's why, right? And they're going to say that. They're going to continuously say that, which is unfortunate.
So you have to make sure the interviewee has their facts straight. No, you have to. Again, expectations are different for who's conducting the interview. Galifianakis doing an interview is going to be completely different, right, than the guy from CNN or Tucker Carlson, right? It's going to be a completely different interview. You could have the same person being interviewed, but the interviewer being a different person is going to make it a different interview altogether.
Yeah, because just based on their questions and their framing, right? So
DJ Slope is supposed to be somebody who sniffs out these kick scammers. He sniffs out these projects that don't smell right. This is his whole shtick. This is his gimmick, right? This is who he is. So there was expectations as to how he was going to conduct the interview. Follow-up questions, direct questions, questions that require direct answers. Tommy has a habit of saying a lot of things, but not actually answering the question, right? You'll be like, "Hey, Tommy, when's the Amico coming out? It's going to come out in October." And Tommy will say something like, "Well, when I was in China, we ate with chopsticks because, the Chinese president's a good friend of mine. We ate with chopsticks. So everybody there, they don't have forks. And I had the biggest concert ever. I don't know if you know this. Guinness Book World Record, biggest concert ever held for video games was in China. Video Games Live. I got 2 Guinness records for that. So, yeah. And they're like, wait a minute, Tommy, that had nothing to do with what the fuck we were talking about. I just want to know about the release date, right?" And he does it. Watch interviews. He does this like fucking Jedi mind trick where he just says a whole ton of shit. And if you cut it all out, right, and you're like, wait a minute, he didn't actually answer the question. I asked him how many colors there were, and he was telling me about fucking Elliot from E.T.
Yeah. Roundabout answer.
Yeah, so that's all we're saying. And again, I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm just saying, we love you, Tommy. Yeah, we love you, Tommy.
But also too, like there's a way if you didn't want to be or appear negative, I mean there's a way of spinning the question to make it seem like it is positive when it's not. You just have to pick the wording, right? So I that's not an excuse either.
And just to further cement the fact, Tommy, everybody's like, well, if you ask certain questions, Tommy would just leave, right?
Mhm.
Go back to the interview I did with Tommy. I was very fucking hostile. Like I was hot out of the gate, like, and he stayed, right? For as much shit as I give Tommy, for as much shit that I give the project, right? When I was firing questions at him and I was fucking yelling and I was hot, he didn't just fucking disconnect and leave, right? He stayed the entire time. So I'm sure if DJ Slope gave a little pushback, Tommy wasn't going to go anywhere. So that's all I'm saying. But I think we've said enough about this particular thing. We're at 2 hours already. What the fuck?
Yeah. We had a lot to say.
Yeah. I think we got one more. We'll do the Sonic Origins thing. You want to do that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't need to react to the Thor trailer and the Doctor Strange thing.
I mean, we could just say one thing about the Thor trailer because it was new. The Doctor Strange trailer was obviously whatever.
Well, okay, I'll put a Thor Love and Thunder trailer reaction. Let me change this. There was a lot of people angry about that.
I was.
Ooh, okay. Maybe we will talk about this. All right, we're going to be giving our thoughts on the Thor Love and Thunder trailer reaction. Our reaction to the trailer, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your friends. Blinded Brill, you said you were upset with the trailer. What's going on?
Yeah.
You don't like women?
I don't like women. No.
Women? Strong women?
Who doesn't like Natalie Portman? Natalie Portman is still. How old is Natalie Portman? Now that I think about it.
41, maybe? 40?
That's crazy. She still looks good for 41.
Something like that. I know she's like around my age. Have you seen the meme, before we get into it, have you seen the meme with Natalie Portman looking all buff where it says Chad May?
Yeah, I seen that. I seen lots of those memes about Padme and stuff. That was funny.
So why were you upset about this trailer? What was...
I think I should probably put this disclaimer out there. I don't really like Thor Ragnarok. Not because it wasn't funny. Like I thought it was funny, but I thought it was very goofy and it kind of ruined the character of Thor and Hulk. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't like that movie. It was just like it was just a movie that was there because the other Thor movies were so bad where they just didn't have an audience. And so they had to like change it and make it like like the who wrote the Thor comic? Was it Walter Simmons or that popular Thor comic that was probably like in the 80s, right?
I'm not a Thor comic aficionado.
But if you look that up, a lot of people say that's like the best Thor run, right? And so they're kind of aping off of that, and they're trying to make it like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 with all this more colorful, and it's out in space, and it's like, yeah, it's cool, but I feel like the big turnoff of that movie is that they changed so much, and they threw away all the storylines that were set up with Thor because it just didn't work, right? And so that was kind of my big problem with that movie, right? It just too goofy, didn't take the characters serious, and it just was more focused on the humor. And so this trailer just feels like a repeat of that. And it's like, obviously that's what I should have expected, but I don't know. I feel like, do we really need this? It doesn't feel fresh anymore. Like the first time around, okay, you could say it was different, but the second time around, and it's been like 5 years since Thor Ragnarok, And then the trailer music wasn't good. Oh my god, my dog is barking now.
The dog
But
disagrees.
yeah, my dog disagrees. But yeah, someone's probably gonna deal with her. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really feeling the trailer at all, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, this looks amazing," and I'm like, "How? This looks like what we got 5 years ago." There's nothing new. There's no new story, right? It's the same story that Thor's got to find himself, and he doesn't know what to do, and then he's hanging out with, some other new people, right? Like the first time it was Hulk, and now it's the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're gonna play a soft rock song, or the pick that they had in the trailer was bad too. Like I just didn't like that song. It was like Guns N' Roses. What was the song again?
Sweet Child.
Because Sweet Child, yeah, like you hear that song in like commercials and stuff. Like
I love that song. It's fantastic.
it's just overplayed though, especially for like a Thor trailer. I was expecting something else. So I don't know. And then on top of that too, I feel like just like in that trailer alone that they're starting to now just take way too much from the comics. Like this is like three different stories from the comics combined, which is weird. Like that's like too much for one movie. Like you have the female Thor stuff, and then you have the God the Butcher stuff, and even there was like a shot in the trailer that was right from the Jason Aaron panel, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you see Marvel, they know what to do." But I'm like, dude, it feels so like uninspiring that they just literally ripped off this panel from the comic, right? And it's like exactly the exact same. Like the creature, the blood on its face. I'm like, it's so shameless, right? It's not even like, I don't know. It's just so shameless to me. Like for me, I don't like, that's what I'm saying. Like when like I'm just shitting on it because I don't like the direction that they went in. Like, and it's just more of the same. You know what I mean? So I was gonna. I already had my mind. This is the thing, right? I already had my mind made up about this movie a little bit, especially Gore, right? Like seeing his makeup and everything. It's such a disappointment, right? Like I get it. Christian Bale doesn't want to have his face be like CGI'd or whatever, but it just looks so uninspiring. Like I was saying, it looks like Barakapool, like gray Barakapool from X-Men Origins. So I don't know. I'm just not like really feeling some of these trailers anymore from Marvel. I just feel like they're so, well, Marvel movies in general, they feel like they're so cut and paste now. Like you kind of know what you're gonna expect, and especially coming off of the Batman, I just feel like they need to do something new.
No. Well, I
Like
disagree wholeheartedly with everything that my co-host just said.
oh boy.
I thought the song was great. The trailer is showing a theme of Thor being lost, trying to find himself, trying to find his identity into the world. Now that Asgard has been destroyed, he's had his life thrown upside down. He found out he had a sister, then he had to kind of kill his sister, then he had to destroy his homeland. His dad is dead. His brother's a jerk still. All kind of shit went on, right? He got fat, and now he's got to get back in shape. And I think, Sweet Child of Mine is a great song. Yeah, it's a little overused, but so what? It's a fucking great song. I don't think Marvel has to do anything different. They're making money hand over fist. It's like, hey, you made way too much money. Do something different because we don't want you to make money anymore.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing.
It's McDonald's. Okay?
I feel like, you know what, Marvel doesn't get that excuse because they were the ones that did take some risks creatively in the beginning. And now it feels like they whatever was a success for them, whatever hit, they're like, oh, let's replicate it. Right? Like Black Panther. Yeah, but it just feels so unoriginal and uninspiring for a brand that has a bunch of source material that was, they were taking risks, they did different things, they experimented with the characters, and sometimes it would sell and sometimes it doesn't. Like it's like
it's settled into a groove, and they're gonna ride to the fucking end of the earth, fucking train.
I'm starting to feel like it's copied and paste, and it doesn't help. Like if it was copied and pasted and it came out twice a year, maybe I'll be fine. But we're getting lots of Marvel, right? Like it's undeniable that we have like 9 projects from Marvel a year, and it's like for all of them to be the exact same thing, like with the jokes and you know what I mean. Like I'm not opposed to the characters because I like the characters, but like why does everybody need to act the same? Why does everybody need to the tone and you got to put the music because Guardians of the Galaxy did the music and they got to be quippy like Star-Lord or Iron Man because people remember those performances, right? Like how come you can't do like you know what I mean? I just feel that way, especially with Thor, because Thor was like the character that did a 180 and it wasn't really earned. It just sort of happened in one movie. Like, oh, now he's a jokey character. Like, why is he cracking jokes like he's Spider-Man? Like that wasn't his character. He's a fish out of water, right? So like his humor was a little bit different. But now it's dramatically changed because Taika Waititi's directing it and he's, allowed to do whatever he wants, which is fine, but I don't know. I just don't I'm very burnt out on Marvel if you can't tell. Like especially the movies.
I think you're just a little too film student. Uh,
Nah,
Sometimes it's
I
just
feel
gotta
like I'm
be
burnt out by
fucking.
Marvel.
It's just McDonald's. It's just comfort food. It's good. It's not good for you, but you just eat it because it's what you remember and you love it. And it's a Big Mac, and oh my god,
But
it's
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Do you go to McDonald's like every week, every day?
I'm an American.
That's what it
I
feels
would go
like.
to McDonald's every day if I could. If I
That's
wasn't on this
crazy.
diet, I would be eating McDonald's every fucking day.
Then I don't know. I just feel like at a certain point, too much of a good thing is a bad, because then you start to be like, ah, this feels the same. I need something new, and that's all I really want is something new from Marvel. And I feel like the TV shows do a little bit better of differentiating. They still have those jokes and all that stuff, but I'm just not. I'm really soured on some of these movies, especially coming off of like New No Way Home and Eternals and Shang-Chi. I just feel like we're getting too much of the same.
I mean, I like I said, I understand the criticism, but I still think they're good movies.
Yeah. Okay.
What did you think about this part of the trailer here that I got up? Dude catching the lightning bolt.
Oh
Zeus,
yeah, that's Zeus. It's Russell Crowe.
are we getting a Hercules coming to the MCU?
I would hope so. That's the one character I'm very confused of why they haven't introduced, especially in Phase 4.
So
So I'm
what,
hoping.
what I was thinking, because you got Zeus in the movie, obviously, you got Gore the God Butcher, and
Mhm.
and to have a name like that, he's got to butcher somebody in the movie, right?
Well,
He's
he's
got to
going to be
kill
on a killing rampage. That's what he does in
right.
the comic.
And we know that he's not going to kill Thor. He's not going to kill Lady Thor. He's not going to kill any of the
No.
characters you're familiar with, right? Because Marvel's played it safe. He played safe, right?
Mhm.
But Zeus, you could kill Zeus and then introduce Hercules as Hercules is out in space. He finds out the dad's dead, and now you got a new fish out of water Thor and Hercules.
Mhm. I'm just wondering if I'm going to guess Hercules is referenced in this movie, but he just doesn't appear, right? Like I don't. We would have known by now somewhere. Oh, Hercules got casted,
Well,
but I
maybe
just
he's going to show up at the end, at the like a Easter egg
in
at
a
the end.
post credits scene,
Yeah, post credits.
maybe.
Because
I mean,
remember,
it would be interesting because I mean, in the comics, Hercules isn't like I wouldn't really compare him to Thor, but I would assume people make that comparison.
Hercules is comparable. They fought each other. They had equal strength. They were both
But I mean,
the.
like personality wise, and
They
like,
were bro. Originally, they had a very similar personality. Thor was very, that stuffy, thy, thee, thou, fucking
I
speaking.
always felt like Hercules was a little bit more jokey
He was. That's what I
than
mean.
Thor.
Eventually, we got to that point where Hercules was all about having fun and
Yeah,
debauchery and all that.
like that's the Hercules I know from
But
the
here's what I
comics.
could see, and I have no special inside information. So if this comes true, it was just a guess. But
Mhm.
being as Thor is the god of thunder, and the movie is about finding your place, we have Zeus, who's also a god of thunder and lightning. We have a god butcher out there that is going to be butchering guys. We have a female Thor who's going to be the Thor of Asgard. Are we going to see our
Thor
Thor, our
corpse.
Chris Hemsworth, at the end of the movie replace Russell Crowe as the head of the Olympian pantheon, the god of thunder and lightning?
I thought you were going in a totally different direction. I thought you were going to say the Thor corpse,
No.
because like that's the
And
one thing
then
that people want.
that's what I'm saying. Like we would have Thor replace Zeus, right? He becomes the head of the pantheon. He takes his spot because Zeus gets killed and Thor is the only
I
one.
mean, but
And
what?
then at the end of the movie, Hercules shows up. Is like, I'm here to be king. I heard my dad's dead.
I'm not too sure about that because I feel like when his heir is to be king of Asgard, and in the trailer it seems like Valkyrie, which by the way her name is King Valkyrie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why, because they want Valkyrie to be the king
Well,
of Asgard,
in
and
the
they're
in
going to have a Lady Thor, and because they're supposedly having Lady Thor and Valkyrie have a relationship, there's no
I don't
room in
think
Asgard
that's.
for
I,
Chris Hemsworth.
well, hold on, wait, slow down. There's a couple of things that those things aren't happening about the relationship with Valkyrie and Jane. Like it's supposed to be another character we don't know yet. That's what
I
people are
don't
kind of
follow
reporting
leakers.
on.
I'm just saying what I heard.
But Valkyrie in this trailer, from what we see in the trailer, seems like she doesn't want to be king, right? Because she's in these. It's all become sort of merchandised and corporatized, and you can see her like she's in a suit and she's just like groaning like she's just in agony from all of this, right? Because this is not what she signed up for.
Right.
So, and I'm going to suspect that, because Thor is going to be around in the MCU, he is going to be king because that's what was in the comics. I mean, even in the Gore Butcher arc, there was actually three Thors, right? There was the young Thor, the Thor that we know, the modern Thor, and then old Thor, which was the king. And so I think Marvel at some point you know, will have to do that because a lot of people did like that Thor, the older Thor. He was very interesting and he was very like it was such a dramatic change because there was so much that happened to him. And obviously it's like thousands of years have passed, right? So I think people would want to see that at least. So I'm gonna suspect um maybe Olympia, just everybody in Olympia dies, right? And like they're just like a casualty, right? Like Gore's like a slasher villain where he's just going to go on a rampage and killing people and
Like Mike Myers, just fucking.
yeah,
Wink, wink.
yeah, and these are just sort of like, hey, look at all these gods, like aren't they cool? And then holy shit, they get all murdered, right? As like a joke. I'm going to assume it's a joke because it's Taika Waititi and he does stuff like that. So
It's true.
that's my prediction.
I don't know. I think the lightning bolt has something. They kind of show it off in the trailer. So I think
Mhm.
Thor is at least going to get his hands on it by the end of the movie, and that might be
Possibly.
why Hercules comes after him.
I
Thor
thought
and
it was a
Hercules
fake
have
out
to
in the
fight.
trailer.
Thor and Hercules have to fight. That's something people want
Yeah.
from the comics. They want to see it.
But I would love to see Thor. There's a lot of stuff from Thor that I would like to see, and that's why I'm like, I feel like can we have like something new, a little different? Like I would really like to see Beta Ray Bill,
Well, I
the
don't think
Thor
he's happening.
corpse. Say it again.
I don't think Beta Ray Bill is ever happening in the MCU.
That's a big disappointment. Big disappointment. He had a great little mini series last year that was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, just because they already got rid of Odin. Odin's dead, right?
Yeah.
The guy who made Peter Dinklage's character, he's pretty much done for, right?
Yeah.
So who's going to make Stormbreaker is Thor's, right? They named that new hammer Stormbreaker, which is the name of the hammer Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
So, and Beta Ray Bill is an alien. So you're going to have to introduce a new alien species, come down. how you're going to fit it in, because originally they were trying
They
to
give
land on Asgard and use that as their new
yeah.
home.
If I was Marvel, what I would have done was like a Sif and Beta Ray Bill meet up in like a Disney Plus series, and Thor maybe has like a cameo, and they call it like what was the original comics that Thor got introduced? I always forget.
Journey into the Mystery.
Yeah, call it something like that, right? Call it a day, and it's like this trippy cosmic road trip journey, and it's like an anthology story, and you could throw in a bunch of other stuff in there like that. I would watch. That sounds cool and interesting, right?
The thing that you came up with sounds interesting to you? Surprised.
Yeah, surprise, right? But I'm just saying, like, I would really want something like that. Um, I just feel like this. I don't know. I'm not like I said, Marvel movies. I'm very stuffed. Don't really want any more. Like especially Black Panther 2. I'm don't really want to see that. Like
I'm
if there
interested
were,
just to see what they do with it.
I have no faith in that movie. Like they should have just put it on pause. I do want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's the one that I would watch in a heartbeat. But the rest, nah, I'm not interested.
Uh, I will say the only way I see them bringing Beta Ray Bill is maybe in the Loki series. They run into Thor variants, and they give you like Beta Ray Bill, Eric
Mm,
Masterson. What the hell is the one from the future? Drago, something like that.
yeah, there's a lot. There's even Ragnarok Thor. He's like a
Yeah.
clone. There's a lot
So I'm
of
saying I could
fucking
see
weird
that
shit.
happening, but I don't see like Beta Ray Bill coming through the MCU like a movie.
Damn. I remember the rumor was that it was going to be Ryan Gosling voicing him. And that I was like, that sounds weird as hell. I would want to see that. But it
You
didn't happen.
you got the Easter egg in 3, and I think that's as far as it's gonna go.
That'd be I just can't see that happening. This is Marvel. Like Marvel Studios is gonna milk anything. If they don't, like they haven't even there's so much stuff they haven't done with Thor.
But yeah, well, there's so much stuff they haven't done with anybody. I mean, I want to see
Yeah.
Quasar come out. He hasn't been introduced. Silver Surfer is one of my favorite characters. He hasn't been introduced.
I feel like
Namor,
Quasar would be introducing Guardians, but I don't think James Gunn is gonna do that.
fucking Quasar's badass. Marvels,
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
Lots of characters they haven't introduced yet.
Yeah, so I think that's it. That's it for the Thor Love and Thunder trailer. I liked it. Blinded didn't like it. He
I'm
don't
still
like
gonna watch it
McDonald's.
though.
I want
But
McDonald's. Still both gonna watch the movie.
yeah. I might like it, who knows? I'm just saying the trailer, it felt like what we got 5 years ago.
And I liked Thor Ragnarok. It was my favorite Thor. Loved it. So
I mean, is it? It's like there's
I
no
mean, the
other
other
good
two
Thor
Thors are kind of
movies,
bad.
so
So
yeah, that's what I mean. Like by proxy, it's everybody's favorite because it's not bad. But I have my issues with it.
well, I had my issues too. I didn't like they truncated the whole World War Hulk, Planet Hulk storylines.
Yeah. And that's gonna come back, which is gonna be a mess. They're gonna
Really.
bring a Hulk's son in a She-Hulk, so no, I'm not looking
Which
forward to
one?
that. Isn't it Scar?
Well, he has two. That's why.
Well, the one that he had on during the Planet Hulk saga,
Yeah, he had two of
which I'm
them.
pretty sure is Scar.
He had two. Scar is the one that travels with him that looks like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Then he has another one that was like he didn't know, and I guess he stayed behind on the planet.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Scar from what I've heard.
Then he has that daughter with the lady from the other dimension that came and stole his fucking DNA and
Mm,
impregnated herself.
lots of weird ass shit.
Yeah. Because she was She-Hulk for a little bit in the comics. She was like the new She-Hulk. And then they're like, dude, this stupid. And they fucking got rid of her again.
Yeah, they got rid of her. Yeah.
Just like Betty Ross got killed and then she became the Red She-Hulk.
She came back as the Red She-Hulk,
Yeah.
too. That was an Immortal Hulk. I still want them Immortal. Like if they did a Immortal Hulk movie, that would be sick. That would get my attention because that's like completely different to what Marvel's doing. So
Yeah, but that was not to deviate too far from what we started, but the
mhm.
whole idea of the devil within the Marvel universe, the 616, Mephisto is supposed to be the devil. There were so
Yeah.
many references to the fact that he is the actual 100% biblical Satan in the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
And then they just kept changing it. Like, no, fake out. He's not.
Well,
No.
I think there's also another character I can't remember who's supposed to also be the devil.
There's like
He
five.
doesn't get a lot of attention. Yeah, I know there's a lot. There's a lot of them. But um,
Satanish is one. Satan is supposed to be the devil.
mhm.
Mephisto. But if you remember in Infinity War, when what's his name? Thanos is talking about the history of the world and the universe.
Mhm.
They reference the angels being cast out of heaven, and in the front of the pack is Mephisto.
Hmm.
So Marvel heavily implied that he is Satan.
I
And
bet
there's
they
been
retcon that.
just
That's
like
Jim Sterling, right? Jim
yeah,
Sterling wrote Infinity War.
just like remember at one point it was Satan that gave Ghost Rider his powers, and then they're like, no, it
Mhm.
wasn't Satan, it was Mephisto.
Yeah, I think they're gonna in the MCU they would have to streamline it
Yeah.
because they're gonna introduce Ghost Rider for sure. But who knows what Ghost Rider they're gonna introduce? That's the thing that we don't know yet.
Yeah, I think that's we're getting off track as we
Yeah.
always do. So we're gonna end this here. I think that's it for the show. We're at 2 hours and 30 minutes. I
It's
think
a
we'll
long
cut it
show.
here. I'll start a new stream. That way, it'll be easier to cut this one up since it's 2 hours and 30 minutes instead of like a 5-6 hour. Taco the Greek said I look like Thanos on the show once. I think you mean Tazo the Greek. Tazo the Greek, not Taco the Greek. Carl wants to talk about Sonic Origins, so we'll talk about that on the after show. I got some thoughts. Thoughts you might not like. I got some thoughts. So
Oh yeah,
we'll
do you
go
want
ahead
me
and
to
set
bring
that up for
Sonic
you.
slander?
Yeah.
Because I don't like Sonic at all. At least not
Set up
recently.
the after show right now. Don't go away. Talk amongst yourselves. Keep them entertained, blinded. You have the floor.
I might as well go on this Sonic rant. My apologies,
No,
Carl,
hold
but
on till the after show.
oh
Carl wants
fuck.
to get in on the Sonic stuff.
Okay, fine. What is going on in the chat?
What time is it? 9:45. So we'll say 9:50.
Oh, there's a lot of crazy stuff. I guess most people probably don't care, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with Ezra Miller,
Oh, Ezra Miller is fucking crazy.
dude.
So
And then someone came out and is now accusing him of abuse, some like ex-girlfriend. So, I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out. But I'm not surprised. He seems like he's got a lot of issues, lots and lots of issues. I have no. I listen. I do not like sitcoms. I'm not a fan of sitcoms, so I have no like. Like if someone told me about sitcoms, I'd probably be like, "Yeah, I'm not interested
you
in
don't
it
like
at
Three's
all."
Company?
No,
What? It's
I hate. I just hate. I just don't like it. I'm not too big on certain comedies. Like it just turns me off to the point where I'm like, yeah, I can't watch this.
all
And
right.
sitcoms is one of them.
So I got it all set up. I don't want to cut off the hate for the sitcoms, but I'm putting the link for you guys to go over to the after show. We're going to be ending this in the next couple of minutes. I will give Blinded the link to the new broadcast. It's in the private chat. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for participating in Gabbing with Geeks. I will see you on the after show where we're going to party. It's going to get wild, crazy. Blinded might take his pants off. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. But we'll see.
Oh, man.
Love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.
Peace.